You're listening to the Armchair Quarterback Show. Please like and subscribe today. YouTube.com, Armchair Quarterbacks1, home of Braves Country Baseball, Tuesday and Friday nights, along with pop-up shows, and the Armchair Quarterbacks Show, which airs live Saturday mornings. YouTube.com, Armchair Quarterbacks1. Hey, football fans, the Armchair Quarterback Show is back Saturday mornings, 9 a.m. to noon Eastern. A 3-hour wake-up show that'll cover it all. College football, the NFL, fantasy football, and Major League Baseball. It's the Armchair Quarterback Show, 9 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern, Saturday mornings, right here on the Armchair Quarterbacks 1 YouTube channel.
It's important to remember the value of taking time for ourselves to do the things that help us grow and explore, like learning something new. And now with the Great Courses Plus, it's never been easier to experience the joys of learning. The Great Courses Plus offers thousands of streaming videos that cover hundreds of fascinating topics, from World War II to choosing the perfect wine. You can even take a course on the U.S. government or dealing with stress and anxiety. And because the Great Courses Plus partners with world-class professors and experts, you're always receiving thoroughly vetted, high-quality content from every lecture. Plus, you can watch or listen anytime, anywhere with the Great Courses Plus app. So take a little time for you. Sign up for the Great Courses Plus today for a free month of unlimited access. Visit thegreatcoursesplus.com/radio to get started. That's thegreatcoursesplus.com/radio.
I think my jersey was one of the top selling jerseys around the world. It was like Kobe, LeBron, and then I was right behind them, and I didn't make a dollar from it, but nor did I want to, because I knew going into college what it was all about. I knew going to my dream school, where I wanted to go, the passion for it. And if I could support my team, support my college, support my university, that's what it's all about. But now we're changing it from us, from my university, from being an alumni where I care, which makes college football and college sports special, to then, okay, it's not about us, it's not about we, it's just about me. And yes, I know we live in a selfish culture where it's all about us, but we're just adding and piling it onto that, where it changes what's special about college football. We turn it into the NFL, where who has the most money, that's where you go. That's why people are more passionate about college sports than they are about NFL. That's why the stadiums are bigger in college than they are in the NFL, because it's about your team, it's about your university, it's about where my family wanted to go. And you're taking that away so that young kids can earn $1. And that's just not where I feel like college football needs to go.
Armchair.
Tom has been a teacher for over 40 years. One day, I think one of the students had asked the question and he didn't remember the answer. And I also noticed that he was letting his class out earlier than they were supposed to let out. I was really starting to worry.
Levi and I talked about how it would change our lives, but he was there beside me.
When something feels different, it could be Alzheimer's. Now is the time to talk. Visit alz.org/ourstories to learn more. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
I'm Amy Lawrence, and I'm up late, always, after hours, hanging out with you on CBS Sports Radio. Check it out, 2 a.m. Eastern, 11 p.m. Pacific.
Join the Armchair Quarterback Show for its 9th season. And this year, we're doing it all in one show. Saturday mornings, 9 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern, we'll be talking college football, the SEC, the Big Ten, other big games of the day. We'll be diving into the National Football League, focusing on the Southern football teams and all the big matchups throughout the land, and doing it while covering the point spreads, the over-unders, the prop bets, fantasy football. We'll tell you who to start and who to sit, and everybody's favorite, the stupid underdog picks. We'll cover Major League Baseball all the way through October and beyond. It's the Armchair Quarterback Show, 9 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern, Saturday mornings on Armchair Quarterbacks 1 YouTube channel.
Lager, The beer that brought the forest down.
I drive an exotic imported sports car. I eat exotic foreign food like frankfurters and pizza. But when it comes to numbing my mind, I'm a patriot. I drink the beer that brought the forest down. I'm a lager man. And with the new 80-bottle trunk pack, you've got enough for the evening. Hey, it's happy hour somewhere.
Lager brings out the patriot in you.
Hey, Braves fans, the Armchair Quarterbacks YouTube channel are bringing you Braves baseball all season long. Hi, I'm Mac McGee, and I'll be bringing you Braves baseball play-by-play for the Braves fans out there, for all of Braves country. So pull up an armchair and join us for Braves country baseball, first pitch to last pitch, Tuesday and Friday nights, right here on the Armchair Quarterbacks YouTube channel. You're listening to Braves Country Baseball. Please like and subscribe today. YouTube.com, Armchair Quarterbacks1. Hey, football fans. The Armchair Quarterback Show is back. Saturday mornings, 9 a.m. to noon Eastern. A 3-hour wake-up show that'll cover it all. College football, the NFL, fantasy football, and Major League Baseball. It's the Armchair Quarterback Show, 9 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern, Saturday mornings, right here on the Armchair Quarterbacks1 YouTube channel.
Enjoy sun-drenched days, epic stays, and plenty of room to roam in Greater Fort Lauderdale. Our hotels, attractions, and restaurants have taken the Visit Lauderdale's Safe and Clean pledge so you can relax and explore with confidence. When you're ready for that well-deserved staycation, our 23 miles of golden beaches await. Find wide-open spaces to hike, bike, kayak, and paddleboard. Visit your favorite attractions, then dine out in style on waterfront patios. Learn more at sunny.org.
To protect his family from disaster, Steve used his camera phone.
Done.
By taking pictures of his important documents, Steve can always have them stored online. Learn more simple disaster prep tips at ready.gov. A message from FEMA and the Ad Council.
Join the Armchair Quarterback Show for its 9th season. And this year, we're doing it all in one show. Saturday mornings, 9 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern, we'll be talking college football, the SEC, the Big Ten, other big games of the day. We'll be diving into the National Football League, focusing on the Southern football teams and all the big matchups throughout the land, and doing it while covering the point spreads, the over-unders, the prop bets, fantasy football. We'll tell you who to start and who to sit, and everybody's favorite, the stupid underdog picks. We'll cover Major League Baseball all the way through October and beyond. It's the Armchair Quarterback Show, 9 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern, Saturday mornings on Armchair Quarterbacks1 YouTube channel.
Make contact. A collective psychosis is sweeping the nation. We're in the thick of the haze craze, and Elysian is introducing an altered state of IPA. Contact Haze is a tangled chemistry of mild haze, low bitterness, and an explosion of hop aroma. This hazy IPA bursts with notes of bright raspberry, currant, citrus, guava, and passion fruit. Available in 6-pack cans in stores and in all Seattle Elysian locations. Make contact.
Saturday mornings, the Armchair Quarterbacks, a Southern tradition like no other. We dive into the Southeastern Conference and the Southern teams in the National Football League. We talk the betting lines, fantasy football. So join us Saturday mornings and get your football weekend started right with the Armchair Quarterbacks, 9 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern, right here on Armchair Quarterbacks1 YouTube channel.
I'm not audible. If I'm audible, I'll use Omaha! Red Polly! Blue Poncho! Dilly! Rambo! Give me Kershaw here, Kershaw!
You're listening to the Armchair Quarterbacks.
Japan! Richmond, New York! Richmond, Florida! Sally, Buffalo! Jet, hey, Short Ox! Ludo Raiders! Red Lions! Omaha! Come out!
This portion of the show is being brought to you by The Best Things in Life, which are still free with minimum purchase at participating dealers.
Dread running to the post office? Stamps.com brings post office and UPS services right to your computer. Send letters, ship packages, and get up to 40% off USPS and up to 62% off UPS rates. Nearly 1 million small businesses use Stamps.com to save time and money. It's a no-brainer. So skip the post office and visit Stamps.com.
Hi, this is Britney Spears.
Jay-Z. This is Jennifer Lopez. Armchair.
Hey, Braves fans, the Armchair Quarterbacks YouTube channel are bringing you Braves baseball all season long. Hi, I'm Mac McGee, and I'll be bringing you Braves baseball play-by-play for the Braves fans out there, for all of Braves country. So pull up an armchair and join us for Braves Country Baseball, first pitch to last pitch, Tuesday and Friday nights, right here on the Armchair Quarterbacks YouTube channel. Armchair Quarterback Radio, the gunslingers of sports talk.
And here's second-year quarterback Brett Favre out of southern Mississippi by way of the Atlanta Falcons. They are hopeful he can succeed in the NFL. Here, Brett Favre, you want a challenge? Try this one. So with their best receiver out of the game, from the 35, 19 seconds left. Ball punch, Gross, touchdown! Is there a spark of life in Green Bay? Touchdown! Yes! Danny Marino!
Here's Marino, wide open field, throws for a touchdown. It is number 37 on the season, breaks the all-time NFL record. Going deep and open. Touchdown, Mark Duper. Duper has returned, and he is super.
They are going to bring pressure again. Rodgers is going to roll away, throws it up in the air, says a prayer. Janice, does he stop it? Oh, please!
It's the 21st century, and there are just so many fun and exciting ways to lose your money. So many ways to make your life even more interesting with crippling financial burdens. Why not one more way? New in Canada, it's Solitaire, MMORPG. Play with yourself, online. See other people playing with themselves, online. Poverty Poker Online, now offering Solitaire. A new way to lose all your money, even your home, from the comfort of your own home.
TGIF on the Armchair Quarterbacks. Justin Waller and Mac McGee are back at it 6 p.m. Eastern to 7 p.m. Eastern every Friday evening right here on the Armchair Quarterbacks YouTube channel and your local CBS Sports affiliates. We're talking the NFL, Major League Baseball, Southern football, so grab you a cold one. It's finally Friday on the Armchair Quarterbacks, 6 p.m. Eastern to 7 p.m. Eastern. Waller and McGee getting you ready for your sports weekend.
You're listening to CBS Sports Radio. We are all sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Strong opinions and your phone calls. Expect it here. CBS Sports Radio.
Join the Armchair Quarterback Show for its 9th season. And this year, we're doing it all in one show. Saturday mornings, 9 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern. We'll be talking college football, the SEC, the Big Ten, other big games of the day. We'll be diving into the National Football League, focusing on the Southern football teams and all the big matchups throughout the land, and doing it while covering the point spreads, the over-unders, the prop bets, fantasy football. We'll tell you who to start and who to sit, and everybody's favorite, the stupid underdog picks. We'll cover Major League Baseball all the way through October and beyond. It's the Armchair Quarterback Show, 9 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern, Saturday mornings on Armchair Quarterbacks1 YouTube channel.
Remember, if for any reason you must leave your radio, please have the man at the door stamp your ear so you can listen again later.
The Armchair Quarterbacks on YouTube Live, covering the AFC South and NFC South along with the rest of the NFL. Subscribe and like us today. Your first choice for sports talk live from the First Coast. Saturday mornings, the Armchair Quarterbacks, a Southern tradition like no other. We dive into the Southeastern Conference and the Southern teams in the National Football League. We talk the betting lines, fantasy football. So join us Saturday mornings and get your football weekend started right with the Armchair Quarterbacks, 9 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern, right here on Armchair Quarterbacks 1 YouTube channel.
Why did you get so drunk?
You got drunk. I'm just really exhausted.
What's in that cup?
Rum and Cokes.
Do you have any idea how important this is?
You
We're
have
trying to
any
save the
idea?
public. Really, this is
You
what
have
you're doing?
any
This is what you're doing? You know what's going to happen if
Hyperbole is done. Now we can finally play the game.
We are live in Tallahassee, the capital of the great state of Florida. And Desmond Howard going in motion on 2nd down and 5 for Michigan, playing on real grass at Michigan Stadium. Going to the sideline, and it's intercepted. Florida State was sitting and waiting for the Colonel Buckley has thrown the touchdown. What do you do?
Chris Davis takes it in the back of the end zone. He'll run it out to the 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 45. There goes Davis. Oh, my God. Davis is going to run it all the way back. Auburn's going to win the football game. Auburn's going to win the...
We're down to the 20, but the bands are out on the field. There were flags all over the place. The most amazing, sensational, dramatic, heart-rending, exciting, thrilling finish in the history of college football.
In trouble in the backfield, wants to throw now, and he's going to go deep. And I mean deep, and I mean touchdown, Florida! Miracle finish! A Hail Mary that's full of grace for the Gators.
Barkley trying to bounce it. And does escape. Saquon Barkley in the clear. 79 yards.
It's a 31-30 game, and what does
What are they
Nebraska
doing?
do?
I have not seen the kicker come on the field, and I don't think he's coming on the field. Tom Osborne made this decision a long time ago. He's decided to go for 2 and take a shot and win, and I commend him for it.
This is for the national championship for Nebraska. The Seminoles of Florida State.
It's a battle for flagging rights and recruiting advantages in the state of Florida as the Gators come calling. And Chief Osceola ready to get it started. Tallahassee.
Moody flush, throws it down. Caught by Boston College. I don't believe it.
Today, we've got number 1 Seminoles against number 2 Hurricanes.
Hello. Well,
hey.
Good morning, Doug. Apologize for that. I had a last second technical difficulty. I was trying to run back and I didn't get it in time. And anytime that happens, Doug, you hear the music stop, just start talking. Just say, hey, welcome to the show, because
okay.
Once that's on me. I forgot it last second. I was like, holy crap, it's not running. I was making sure that the feed is going to CBS. How are you this morning, sir?
I could be better, but I'm hanging in there.
What happened to you? Are you anti-Pujols?
Something like that.
You're coming to God's country, buddy. You're Raiders and my Titans. Someone's leaving there with a victory, hopefully.
Well, I think it depends on I had said this earlier to somebody else. The Titans are going to walk out with a loss only if the Raiders coaching staff actually had a meeting, and at that meeting, they had a dictionary and they looked up the word adjustments, because my Raiders coaching staff doesn't know what that means after the most humiliating loss in Raiders history.
We lost to the Giants, buddy. I don't have a lot of sympathy for you. And then we got pummeled. Then we got pummeled by the freaking Bills. Bills are in another class right now. It'll be interesting to me to see if the Bills can keep up this pace all year long. I think the Bills are playing really good football, but I think they're in for a tough game tomorrow. We'll get into the NFL here in a second, but that's not going to be an easy feat going to Miami and beating the Dolphins on a short week too. So the Dolphins got them right. If the Dolphins are going to beat the Bills this year, this is how you do it. You do it at home and you do it on a short week for the opposing team. So before we get into anything else, let's go ahead and dive into the fact that Albert Pujols, while you were sleeping last night, hit number 699 and 700. So congratulations to him, becoming the third person ever to legitimately hit 700 home runs. That's right. I said it. Do not count you. BB. It's Pujols at 700. It's Babe Ruth at 714. And it's Hank Aaron at 755. That's the list. That is the list. Man, I'm really, he has played so incredibly well down the stretch here. Swung the bat well. You almost wonder if he'll, I know he said that he's done no matter what, but you almost wonder if he'll come back to try to catch the Babe. I don't think he's got enough left in him to catch Hank Aaron. Maybe that's how he'll look at it, is if I can't catch Hank Aaron, what the hell's the point? Right.
But
man, that would put yourself on a list if you could catch the Babe. I know Babe Ruth. I know Babe Ruth's career is more impressive than anybody's, but to pass Babe Ruth in anything, to me, is worth coming back for. But I will say this: him and Yachty both look like they're limping to the finish line. Like, you see them run the bases, man. I feel bad for Yachty or Molina. I really do. I see him, and I just feel bad for the guy. He's trying to will himself. The one guy in that trio, I think Wainwright could come back next year and pitch again if he really wanted to. But Wainwright is a family guy. He's got at least 2 daughters. I want to say he might have 3 kids, but Wainwright just might be done with it, right? And Wainwright knows he's not chasing any kind of history. So as long as they're not playing my Braves, I will be pulling for St. Louis this postseason.
Yeah, well, I can't pull for St. Louis under any conditions. Being a Reds fan, it's not allowed.
That I understand, but it's a really cool. And look, I got mixed emotions when it comes to the Cardinals, because we've had some series that should lend me to hate them. Because, I mean, look, if nothing else, the infield fly rule that wasn't an infield fly back in 2012, that alone would make me hate the Cardinals. And then, of course, the implosion by Mike Fultonevich in Game 5 of the ALDS. What was that, 2019?
Yeah.
That should lead me to hate them. But when I was a kid, they weren't in our division, and I was a quasi Cardinal fan. I've always been a Braves fan, but the Cardinals were my second favorite team to watch because they were in the division with the New York Mets, and I had to go to New York every single summer to deal with Mets fans, my family. And I became a Cardinal fan because A, they were good and they were competitive against the Mets, and then B, Vince Coleman was from Jacksonville. So that was my main reasoning for pulling for him, finding out that there was a kid from Jacksonville, Florida, that was in the majors, and that was a big deal to me as a kid, right? But anyways, I have a hard time separating that. Now when we play each other, I have no problem with separating it. But when the Cardinals are playing someone that's not named the Atlanta Braves, I tend to pull for them. And I've got a lot of friends, even though they're all jackasses, up in Tennessee that are Cardinal fans and obnoxious Cardinal fans. So I do pull them for that. But I'm telling you, when I lived there, it was really hard for me to pull for them because I was like, dude, this is the team of my youth, and I can't pull for these jackasses because you're so obnoxious.
Yeah.
So
I know. Look,
it's kind of like
business,
Florida being surrounded by Gator fans. The Cardinal fan base in Tennessee is obnoxious. A true Cardinal fan, meaning someone from that area, they're usually some of the best baseball fans on the planet. But you get a transplant, someone who jumped on their bandwagon because they're good and they didn't want to pull for the Braves in the 80s because they were bad. That's the obnoxious Cardinal fan you deal with.
Mm-hmm.
It's just I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, in my business, I've got a lot of transplant Cardinal fans. When they go into their homes, they've got shrines to the Cardinals. But the best Cardinal fans, the ones that I can deal with, being a Reds fans, are I think you have to be a Cardinals fan for at least 20, 30 years to be one of those. I think one of those normal Cardinal fans that I can even deal with in my day-to-day business. But some of them, I tell you what, though, one thing about Cardinals fans, real Cardinal fans, they, like in the homes that I do, they have just shrines, entire man caves just dedicated to the Cardinals. You can't get away with it. I mean, the one guy I have a client that tries to convert me to being a Cardinals fan, sends me hats and stuff all the time. So I'm like, okay, fine. I said, you do understand I'm a Reds fan. I'm being nice to you because I want your money.
Well, I mean, if that's not a Reds fan, nothing is. Dirty bums.
Yeah, I know. Which were so horrible.
Oh man, Braves lose a tough one last night. Got obliterated because why? Because it was Jake Odorizzi Day, and Jake Odorizzi Day equals an L. I was, I had to call that game last night. That was brutal. I've never came so close to one out of a broadcast in my life. But we did have a lot of fun turning back time. I mean, I did some deep dives on some stuff that took place on that date yesterday. And normally I do 2 or 3. Man, last night I did about 8 or 9. And I couldn't believe how, because every time I thought I was done, it's like, man, this happened on this date too. It was unbelievable. A lot of stuff that, what the hell? So that is the second time that has gone off in as many days. There's a missing adult alert in the Jacksonville area, so please look at your phones and figure that out. I mean, that went off yesterday around 3 p.m. Eastern, and it just went off again. It might go off on your phone too, Doug, so just be prepared to shut that down.
Okay.
But I mean, I hate to tell folks, but if someone's missing for that damn long, they probably don't want to be found. All right, so we'll move on from that. Real quick, I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on it, but Titans versus the Raiders. Raiders are favorites in Tennessee, not by much. It's like 2 points, I think. I find that very telling. That tells me that the bettors that, now I know some of it has to do with the fact that they're playing Las Vegas. People in Las Vegas are going to bet on the Raiders, but that tells me that a lot of folks don't believe that Tennessee's worth a damn. I'm split on whether I think this game, how I think this is going to go. But this is a game that if the Titans don't win this, it's time to start looking at next year. Just about. I mean, we are in the worst division of football, but if we don't win this, you're going to be 0-3. Now, granted, the main team you got to worry about in that division is probably going to be 0-2-1 because the Colts are at home, but they face the Chiefs. And the Chiefs have looked a hell of a lot better than the Colts have. But in the NFL, you just never know. Any given Sunday, right? If the Raiders go 0-3, they're definitely done for division. It's a wrap. Because that might be the best division in football. You start off 0-3, it is going to be impossible to come back and leapfrog Kansas City, who will probably win tomorrow, and the Chargers, who should win at home against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, they still wonder if they're going to get their quarterback back. Justin Herbert's still questionable. But even if they don't, the Chargers should find a way to win, even with Chase Daniels. Yeah. And then when you got Houston going to Chicago, that's a winnable game for the Texans. But in the West, who is Denver playing? It's escaping me.
I can't think off the top of my head either.
I'll pull it up. But anyways, the point is, I don't think Denver is I don't think Denver's a threat to win that.
No, Denver's a dumpster fire right now. They're not as much of a dumpster fire as the Raiders have turned into, but they're not what we thought they were at the beginning of the season.
Oh, good Lord. That's the Sunday night game. Broncos 49ers.
Ugh.
Snooze alert. That's the Sunday night game. I hadn't even looked at it. I assumed it was Rams Cardinals. Good Lord. They're just trying to get those two out of the way. Man, Bills Dolphins would have been a better, even in theory, Chiefs Colts going into the season.
Yeah.
From what we've seen from the Colts, that's a bad football team. Packers Bucks. Why is that not Sunday? I guess Fox probably outbid them. But I mean, good Lord, there are so many games that you could choose. 49ers Broncos. Jimmy Garoppolo versus Russell Wilson, who's a shadow of his former self.
I think I'll watch a baseball game instead.
Yeah, I think the Sunday night game is Aaron Judge versus the Red Sox. So if he still has a chance to break the record, he probably will because he's sitting at 60. So unless he hits 2 tonight, I'll probably watch the baseball game. That is news fest. And Monday Night Football is not much better. Cowboys and Giants. What the hell are they doing to us? I mean, look, we'll watch it because it's the NFL and everyone will watch it because they're mentally unstable. But my God. Baseball ESPN should have done a better job of picking a game to put on tomorrow night that wasn't just about the individual accolades.
Yeah.
They could have put Braves Phillies on. If nothing else, Phillies fans are looking at the fact that they're still fighting for a playoff berth. The Braves are still trying to get it's not looking good for the Braves. We're down 2 games in the loss column.
Yeah.
Now I will say this. If you can make up just one, hell, you know what? If you just go even the rest of the week, I've contended all along. I felt like the Braves need to sweep that series against the Mets anyways to win the division. Because if the Braves don't sweep the Mets, we're not going to have the tiebreaker.
Yeah.
And there is no play-in, playoff game. They go by tiebreakers now. They're going straight NFL, so they're going to go by head-to-head. And the head-to-head is going to tell you, unless the Braves sweep, that the Mets get the bye. I mean, get the tiebreaker. So
right.
I felt like the Braves were going to have to sweep that all along unless the Mets fell apart. The Mets have not fallen apart.
No.
So I know there's still going to be 3 more games after that, but the Mets are going to be at home against Washington. The Braves are going to be at Miami. The Mets already have the upper hand in that. So you have to kind of sweep the Mets. And Jake Odorizzi, I better not see that son of a gun pitch another game. His next spot up will be Wednesday night. That better be Bryce Elder. Bryce Elder's pitched a hell of a lot better than he has. He's earned the right to start. What I'm assuming, they haven't announced it yet, but what I'm assuming is Spencer Strider's being pushed to Monday. And they're doing that so that he could pitch Sunday against the Mets. And the way it would set up would be you would have, they'll probably, I guess, no. If you pick, well, in theory, you could pitch Strider on Tuesday, and that would give him 5 days in between starts.
Right.
So you could do that even though the Braves have a day off. So you could go Fried on Monday because he'll pitch Saturday. And so what that would set up most likely is you could do that either way. Kyle Wright's pitching tonight, Morton's pitching tomorrow. You could either go Kyle Wright or Morton on Friday, and then yeah. So I think you want to set it up with Fried and Strider on the weekend, and I would go with Charlie Morton on Friday because the Mets haven't seen him as much as they've seen Kyle Wright. So why not give yourself some puncher's chance to win that first game, get the veteran out there. And you also get Charlie Morton. If you need to win next Wednesday, he would be in the game there. And if not, that's when Jake Odorizzi takes the mound again. The final game of the season if we don't need the win. Have it. Here's the dumbest thing I saw. Dumbest thing I saw all week. The Major League Baseball's final day of the season. And look, everything may be wrapped up, so it may not matter. But every single game is starting at 4:00 Eastern on that Wednesday. Why so damn early on a Wednesday to do every single game? Because doing that means that by the time everyone's getting off from work, it's going to be like the 8th or 9th inning. And I get that you're going to start the playoffs 2 days later, so you might want to get some travel going, right? You couldn't start it a couple hours. You couldn't start it at 6 Eastern. Even 5 Eastern gives people a chance to catch the tail end of any game that might be important. 4:00? Doug, what time do you normally get home from work?
Get home till like 5:30. So
okay, so you actually get home early, but so in theory you might catch half the game, but most folks don't get home between 6 and 7 p.m. nowadays. You're not going to see that damn game, whatever game it is.
No.
So if for some reason that game is of importance, October 5th, and the Braves need it to win the division, that would be the only reason why it would be important. We will try to carry the last couple of innings. When I get off work, I work from home doing sales. I will jump off what I'm doing, run into the studio. I'll already have the feed going. You'll just hear silence for the first couple of hours, and I will dive in here at any time that I have available left. But I don't think that's going to be a thing. I think it'll be wrapped up. Braves are in desperation mode. They need a damn miracle is what they need. DeGrom and Scherzer are going the next 2 days against the Oakland A's. So what you might need to be able to pull in here is Tuesday and Wednesday when they're at home against a feisty Miami Marlins team. Is the Marlins might have to go in there and sweep the Mets to make next weekend important. And Sandy Alcantara does play. Okay. We talked Raiders, Titans. What's your prediction on that one?
I got the Titans winning 17-14.
Oh, you are taking the Titans. I'm surprised. I've got the Titans winning. Titans are at home. If that's not enough to get you the W, what the hell is? And fans should be coming off a high because I think Tennessee, Florida, I think the Vols are going to give it to the Gators today. And that fan base in Nashville should be rocking and rolling tomorrow. I don't think it's going to be a pretty game. I think it'll be a little higher scoring because both defenses suck. Titans defense is like this every year. They look great on paper. Then they play terrible in September. They look a little better in October. And then by the time you start hitting the playoff, their defense looks good, right?
Right.
That might be a little too late this year.
Well, the thing is, at least in this game, I definitely think the Titans' defensive line is certainly far superior to that Raiders offensive line. So I see that defensive line just chewing them up.
If they do not win
All
today,
day
or
long.
if they don't win tomorrow, they'll be 0-3. They then head to Indianapolis to play the Colts. Both of those teams could be 0-3. Wouldn't that be wild? I still don't think that Jacksonville or Houston have what it takes to play a 17-game season and win enough games to win the division.
Right.
But you keep pushing that envelope, you never
there.
know. Jacksonville's offenses look pretty good the last couple of weeks. And they, if they go in there and sneak up on a Justin Herbertless Charger team, you never know. Welcoming in the boys here. We are going to do your stupid underdog pick. Doug, what's your stupid underdog pick for the week?
Mine is Kansas, Oklahoma. I'm taking the plus 13 on that one. I think Oklahoma's favored. But I'm betting against the spread on that one.
Kansas.
Was that I'm sorry, the other Kansas then. They're playing Oklahoma.
I'll take one of those Kansas teams.
Yeah, I think
you refer to Kansas State, I'm assuming. Kansas State plus 13.5.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Kansas State plus 13.5. All right. Well, we got you down. K-State plus 13.5. What is your walk-off for the day?
You were talking about the Braves before, and I was catching highlights from last night's game, and somebody else reminded me too, and I couldn't think of the guy's name. It drove me crazy because I actually watched him do it. This what was it, 38 years ago, 1984, Dale Murphy joined the 30-30 club, and only the sixth player at the time to do it, against the Dodgers in a 3-2 win against the Dodgers.
So that was one of the things that was on our turn back time yesterday. Did you know 34 years ago today, right? 34 years ago in 1988, and I didn't realize it had been that long. And I think to myself, damn, did his career fall apart? In 1988, Jose Canseco yesterday became a member of the 40-40 club. Never hit 30-30 again the rest of his career. Everyone thought it was going to be a foregone conclusion that he's going to get the 40-40 club several times. He never went 30-30 again. That was one of the many turn back times. I saw it on, we're in a blowout, and I was like, might as well talk about this. I couldn't believe that it had been 34 years. For some reason in my head, he did it like late 80s. Like I thought he had done it like almost 1990-ish. I didn't realize it was 88.
Right.
All right, brother. Well, great walk-off. Dale Murphy, of course, he was my first baseball hero that I watched. I grew up listening to stories about Hank Aaron and Duke Snyder and Jackie Robinson because of my family being who they were fans of, but I never saw any of them play. Dale Murphy belongs in the Hall of Fame, you bastards.
Agreed.
All right, we will be back in 60 seconds. When we come back, Joey and Tones, we're ready to talk some football, some feetball. Let's go. Saturday morning here on the Armchair Quarterbacks.
This portion of the show is being brought to you by Ed's Almost Good Beer. Remember, Ed's Almost Good Beer was brewed in God's country when God wasn't looking.
Hey, football fans, the Armchair Quarterback Show is back Saturday mornings, 9 a.m. to noon Eastern. A 3-hour wake-up show that'll cover it all. College football, the NFL, fantasy football, and Major League Baseball. It's the Armchair Quarterback Show, 9 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern, Saturday mornings, right here on the Armchair Quarterbacks 1 YouTube channel.
Hey, Jax.
Hey, football fans, the Armchair Quarterback Show is back Saturday mornings, 9 a.m. to noon Eastern. A 3-hour wake-up show that'll cover it all. College football, the NFL, fantasy football, in Major League Baseball. It's the Armchair Quarterback Show, 9 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern, Saturday mornings, right here on the Armchair Quarterbacks 1 YouTube channel. Welcome back. Joey, how the hell are you?
Doing great today, ready for football.
Tampa Tone's joining us as I don't know what he's doing last minute on his phone. How are you, sir?
Good, my friend. Always great time talking
You doing
football.
late some bets last second?
Not yet. That is in a little bit. That's in about an hour or so. But I'm doing good, my friend. Always great to talk college football, NFL ball with you fellas. We got a lot of good sports to talk about. I'm excited to do so. It's football, baby. In the heart of the season, we're getting into some great games this weekend.
I was, that hat you've got on, I remember that style. I've not seen that style in quite some time. I can't remember if that was a Titans hat or if that was a different, but I remember having a hat with that style, that blended look. I don't think the screen does it justice. I remember it was a really hot, I think it was a sideline hat one year. I feel like.
Yeah, so what they're doing this year is they're all regurgitating all the old looks into sideline looks again. So this is now the Crucial Catch sideline hat. It's mimicking.
So just like the entire generation that is following me, they're officially out of ideas.
Yep.
Confirmed.
Time to copy and paste.
Confirmed. Everything I see, no one's got a new idea to do anything. Well, we've done it all. Someone was sharing on one of the social medias, they were sharing Miley Cyrus doing a cover song. And so I was looking at because I always like looking at the comments to see if there's anything funny pops out. And all they were saying is, I love her cover so much better than her actual songs. And I'm like, oh, me too. I'm like, all this is telling me is that we have no talent in this generation, right? Like, no, and I get that she probably hasn't written any of her other songs either, but that means nobody else is writing any songs.
Right.
Gotta love the
problem
new
is they
generation.
told everyone to just say no to drugs, and I'm sorry to tell you, but in the 70s and 80s we were not saying no to drugs, and we were writing hell of hits. The music was perfected in the 1970s and 1980s, and there really is no reason in any genre to listen to anything else. I'm telling you right now, it's all cover. If it's not cover, they've stole the idea and just reworded the song.
And it's terrible.
You guys must have had the good stuff in the 80s. I don't know what the kids are doing these days.
Oh man, we had the yeah
Hey yo.
We had the good stuff, man. We had everything had a nickname. It didn't matter what you were doing. What kind were you doing? If someone said that they were tripping on acid, well, what kind? Because it was almost like a rollout. You know how restaurants do rollouts and they say this month we're doing, we're putting the chicken crispers in this kind of sauce. Well, that's what was going on with the drugs.
You doing Hannah Montana or the bluegrass?
I remember very specifically partying on it was California Sunshine is what they called it.
Winter.
Chicken dinner that week, my friend. Chicken dinner.
And you get to go to California without actually needing to go to California.
And the statutes of limitations are off on that baby boy, so I can tell that story. But chicken dinner.
Bang bang.
Laying that.
One of the best chicken dinners you'll ever have.
So my dad kicked in the door one day, wanted to know where all these nice clothes were coming from on my minimum wage salary at working at Opryland. I was like,
business is booming.
Fell off the truck.
With no uncertain circumstances that I was officially out of business. I was having a going out of business sale.
Oh, that's too good.
Try tripping on California Sunshine, trying to sell California Sunshine because you're trying to get rid of it. Beyond.
Best job in the world.
You think you've been paranoid? You've never been that paranoid, my friend. Dude, I don't know, man. He looks like a narc. You gotta get rid of it.
They're offering a lot.
Dude's like 50 and he's trying to buy our drugs. Gotta get rid of it, dude. Dad said I'm going out of business. I'm going out of business.
Seems like a cool guy.
Yeah. Guess we'll find out. I remember the last part that we got rid of. We decided that to hell with it. If they are narcs, at least the first part of our imprisonment, we will be tripping balls. So that's how we talked ourselves into selling that last part of sheet.
What a start.
Throwback Thursday on this edition of the Armchair Quarterbacks.
Normally we do turn back time. This is flashback time.
I'm surprised we remember.
Next week we'll read
this day. Sometimes something will. Oh, wait, what the hell was that? As the remnants of California Sunshine, baby boy. All right.
Dancing in the clouds.
Dancing, baby. We were doing it.
Always got sunshine on your side now, at least. So there you go.
I was missing some good ball games back then, I'm sure.
Max shining with the jersey today. Volunteers, baby. Big one.
That's right, baby. I only wear usually only wear the big orange on 2 days, and that's today when they play the hated Gators and when they play the even more hated Alabama Crimson Tide.
Real quick, shout out to Brian Cook joining us from Disney World. That's awesome of him.
Is he in Disney World? Like, is he actually, like, are you on the Mad Hatter right now? That would be great.
all he says is good morning from Disney World.
Make sure that we're on speaker so that all the little kids around you can hear my drug tales of the 1990s.
Brian will be getting 5 to 10 in no time.
It wasn't me. Looking for that South California sunshine, son.
It's in your left pocket, not your right.
All right.
Oh boy.
Well, I didn't jot anything down specifically for this time period because
we just have too much fun.
Well, some things went down, and last night the game got just absolutely turned into trash. So we'll do what we normally do. We'll go into let's do NFL spreads today, and then we'll go to college football. How about that?
Cool.
Because we're just going to spend a little time on the NFL. Kind of a bad slate for NFL games and a good slate for college football. So I really want to spend more time on college football. But we will start. For anyone who's just waking up and joining us, Albert Pujols 700 last night hit 699 700. So congratulations to him. But we spent kind of the first part of the show talking about that, as me and Doug always start the show off with old man radio. You know, I'm surprised the drug tales didn't pop up at that point. Surprised Doug's like, dude, I want something right now. Yeah, that's
I'm leaning back in the recliner for a reason.
Yeah, man. Like, I think we do the show right. We started off a little slow, kind of get you, get your coffee going.
Then bam.
It hadn't really dawned on me till last night when I was getting ready for the show that I was like, damn, my team and Doug's team are playing each other. I was like, it hadn't even really registered with me. I had talked Raiders, and I looked down and got Raiders. They're playing the Titans. I guess we can knock out 2 terrible teams at once. Look, honestly, the big game that I think everybody wants to talk about, that obviously Tone's going to want to talk about. Tone, I'll let you start off with. I know both teams are banged up, but Packers Buccaneers 4:25. That's the Fox game of the week. So most people should get that. Unless you're out on the left coast, you might get Rams Cardinals, and then you also have Falcons Seahawks. Snore. The only game of real worth. I love when they do this too, when there's nothing on the 4:00 games. Jags play Chargers, whatever. I tend to take me a little bit of a nap in the first and second quarter. of the late games, and I get up and I get energized again. Difference is this week, I ain't getting energized for anything except the tail end of the Bucks Packers game. I didn't realize till just a little while ago that our Sunday night game is Broncos and Niners.
Should have switched it to.
Man, I'm telling you right now, if you're watching that tomorrow night, get a life, buddy. Get a life.
You don't want to watch Nathaniel Hackett blow another game, damn near.
What do I care about Broncos and 49ers? Both teams are east of the Mississippi. Jimmy G versus Russell W. I mean, that's a hell of a matchup 5 years ago. What do I care about that? I'm Rams Cardinals. I get why Packers Bucks are the game of the week, mid-afternoon game. Fox probably outbid them. But I was talking about this earlier. NBC did a terrible job on their bidding.
Mm-hmm.
I would have rather seen Ravens Patriots. Bills Dolphins, obviously now, but that's hard to predict, back in the summer. Anything's better than that. Anyways, Bucks, Packers, what you got?
As you alluded to, it's a battle of the banged up wide receiver groups. On the Bucs side of things, you got Chris Godwin officially ruled out. Left tackle Donovan Smith is trending down, not likely to play. Julio Jones, game time decision. Mike Evans obviously suspended. So the Bucs brought in Cole Beasley this week. I think we will see Cole Beasley play a little bit this week. More of slant routes, out routes, 5-yard in routes, nothing too complicated. He won't get a good chance to learn the playbook. And the Packers are really going to look to fortify their run game as they have early on this year with A.J. Dillon, Aaron Jones. However, in Tampa, they've been struggling of late. In the state of Florida in general, they don't play their best football. We learned that week 1 last year when they played the Saints in Florida because of the hurricane and the Saints derailed them. I got the Bucs covering the -1 that they're given right now in this one, albeit banged up on defense without Akeem Hicks. I just think the Bucs defense is playing at such a good level right now. It's hard to bet against them. I like Shaquille Barrett's odds against going up a backup left tackle without David Bakhtiari because he's trending down again for the Green Bay Packers. So although both teams are banged up, I think the Bucs are a little bit more used to it by now. And I think the Packers are without a little more fire pop, without that David Bakhtiari, without that Sammy Watkins. They don't have a lot of big names. So guys like that are huge for them. Bucs have suitable replacements. You got Russell Gage. You got Cole Beasley now. You got a lot of things going on for the Bucs. And also look for tight end Kyle Rudolph to be activated for the first time this year, the veteran tight end who has had good games against the Packers in years past, with rookie tight end Cade Otton doubtful. Rest in peace to his mother. He lost his mother. So the Bucs are going to look a little new on offense with a lot of newer faces out there and a lot of weapons ready to rock and roll. I'm liking the Bucs -1 at home in this one.
So we got matchup predictor here. Most folks are picking the Bucs. I mean, look, they're at home. They should win the game. Wasn't it last year that game was a dud? It was supposed to be a big game, and it ended up being an absolute snore fest.
That was in 2020 when we won 38-10, I believe. That
was 2020?
Yep, that's the year we won the Super Bowl. I remember Rodgers did that discount double check in the end zone, and since that, we just beat the crap out of them.
Oh, wait a minute. It was the Packers that blew out the Bucs?
No, the Bucs blew out the Packers. The Packers were up 10. The Packers were up 10-0, and then we got 38 unanswered.
I thought that's what I remembered is that the Packers just didn't show up. I mean, I feel like that the Bucs should win this game. If they don't, I'd start worrying. If I was a Bucs fan, the Packers looked good against the Bears, but who the hell doesn't? The Packers don't really look. They don't have Devontae Adams anymore. They're going to be leaning heavily on the two-headed monster in the backfield. No one has really stepped up. Even Alan Lazard has not stepped up to be like the guy, right?
Yep.
So and even with all the injuries with the Bucs, look, the only thing Cole Beasley is bringing to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is COVID-19. That's it. He's not bringing anything else. Cole Beasley is a poor man's version of what Scotty Miller is already.
Not for Tom Brady. Cole Beasley has 82 catches in each of his past 2 seasons. I see him assuming the Richard Sherman role.
Okay, but Sherman.
Sherman came off the streets last year and started on the same week we brought him in.
He played defensive back, but okay, good luck. Only thing he's bringing is COVID-19. I mean, I'm telling you, because he refuses to get vaxxed. He wasn't any good last year, even with his 82 catches, most of them for like a yard. So Scotty Miller's a much better option. I think he was just brought in off the street in case Scotty Miller got injured or someone else got injured.
Hey, and if all we get out of him is this week too, that's worth it in my opinion.
Pick him up in fantasy and start him this week.
I did not actually. No. I picked up Rashad Perriman instead.
This is the Ronald Jones argument all over again.
You're
only siding with him because he's wearing your Buccaneers jersey. If that dude would have signed with the Packers this week, you'd be like, what are they doing? He's trash.
No, you could actually ask Joey. I was begging for the Colts to sign him. I was thinking a couple top teams would sign him. I thought he had some.
Well, that's because you're just trying to sabotage your brother's team. Come on now.
Cole Beasley is still a viable NFL wide receiver. You'll find that out soon enough.
No.
I don't think.
If you're gonna look at this a little bit from the, if you are a Packers fan listening to this and you want to have some confidence, the running game, they will easily, like Mac alluded to, rely on that a lot. Aaron Jones and Aaron Dillon have been really good this season. Akeem Hicks in the middle, no Ndamukong Suh in the middle. That's a couple of guys who are run stuffers for Tampa Bay from the past year and this season. I think if you're going to be Green Bay and have a lot of success, you got to keep it on the ground. Tom Brady's offenses to this point haven't done a lot. They have had some nice drives, but they really don't end in a lot of touchdowns. If the Packers could find a way to gash some runs, keep the time of possession, I think that if you're a Packers fan would be the big key there. Have that time of possession, use the running game, and convert on touchdowns. And you're going to have a chance because the Bucs defense is great this year. Their offense has had its moments.
I think it's more important that Leonard Fournette plays. I know he's a little banged up, but they're expecting. I think that's more important than worrying about what the receivers are going to look like. Because
I agree.
I think they're going to try to keep Aaron Rodgers off the field. He can still make the worst receivers look like viable options. He's still, in my opinion, the best quarterback in the NFL, and that even includes Tom Brady. I'm not saying Tom Brady is not the greatest quarterback, top to bottom, field general, et cetera, to ever play the game, but just being able to throw a damn ball in places that other people can't throw, it's still Aaron Rodgers. It's been like that for over a decade now with him.
Mahomes is a close second, I would say.
Mahomes is he's second. He's not a close second because what Rodgers does sometimes is just infoul. It dumbfounds you, right? That he can do what he does. Mahomes, and for all the good little plays that he makes on the run, people forget about the stupid ones that he does too, where he throws into triple coverage and gets lucky it doesn't hit, get picked off. Aaron Rodgers does things with the ball that what he does with the football? He does things with the football that only people can do with the baseball. Like, he'll throw like a curveball in a screwball, pass you to finish. Like, how the hell did the ball get there?
Yeah, and like you're alluding to, Mahomes had 4 passes dropped by Chargers defenders last week. So I'm hoping for a couple of those 50-50 balls from him this weekend.
Yeah. But probably the most exciting quarterback to still watch. You're probably right, Tons. It probably is Mahomes.
He's just so flashy and dazzly out there. But I do like my veterans.
My favorite quarterback to watch today is Lamar Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
He's so inconsistent with his passes, but man, he's fun to watch.
That last game was a prime definition of that. They had the lead all game.
I truly hate the Ravens, right? I'm glad I haven't wasted his career hating him, right? Because that's typically my MO. Someone who's really good, I hate his team, so I can't pull for him because I hate the team he plays for. I don't hate the Ravens. Even back to the Titans rivalry goes back 20 years when they were in the same division. They've been out of the same division for so long, like it doesn't matter to me. And it hasn't hurt the fact that the Titans have owned him in the playoffs. But I think Lamar Jackson's still my favorite player to watch because of what he can do on the ground. And he's different. No one else can do what he does. But the best passer is Aaron Rodgers. The most fun altogether put together is probably Mahomes.
Yeah, Josh Allen's making.
Josh Allen's up there, man. Josh Allen's up there. He just,
if he gets a Super Bowl,
and it's got nothing to do with that. It's the fact that Josh Allen sometimes, I don't know. It's not as exciting to me to watch Josh Allen play as it is to watch Mahomes play. And I don't know what it is, but I guess it's because Mahomes does more improvising.
I know what you mean. Almost, it's almost like Allen makes it look easy to the point where it's like, nothing too crazy here. Where Mahomes is always on the run, on the move, changing sidearm elevations, etc.
I'll tell you who's not making it look easy right now is Ryan Tannehill. I can tell you that.
Hey, neither is Matt Ryan. The AFC
Dude,
South.
I told you that guy was done. You didn't want to listen to me.
Well, I mean, when you have
a few years in Atlanta, we talked about this on Wednesday. I don't know if you caught the show or not. We talked about this on Wednesday. The Colts keep trying to skip the part where you draft a guy and develop him. They keep trying to grab a guy off the street, and he's done. Like they're gonna.
It doesn't help when you also have the highest paid offensive line in football, and they just don't do absolutely nothing. I mean,
but is that all their fault, or is it Matt Ryan not?
Well, I mean, here's the thing, too. You have receiver issues. We didn't have Michael Pittman last week. You watched the game, I'm sure, in Jacksonville. That receiving core is ugly.
You're not going to have this week either.
Well, actually, Michael Pittman's playing this week.
Is he?
Yeah, Shaq Leonard is not, but Michael Pittman is.
Oh, I thought I saw an update. Maybe it was an old update that it didn't look like he was playing. Okay.
And we need him badly because I will admit, you're 100% Matt Ryan has looked old at times this year. He's had quite a few turnovers.
I'll tell you what, though, if it's questionable, I wouldn't play him because it's much more important to win next week against Tennessee than it is to beat the Chiefs, which you're probably not going to beat.
Yeah, I mean, if the Colts and the Titans lose this week, they're still playing a very important game, which I'll be at next week.
The Loser Bowl.
Yeah.
We'll be in the Loser Bowl next week.
Whoever loses has to fire somebody, either quarterback or head coach or somebody up there. Frank Reich, if he loses these next 2 weeks, he's done, man. This guy's been a clown for over a season now, making bad calls. I just don't know how he keeps surviving as the Colts head coach if they continue.
Does the front office get a pass because they're the ones that brought in Phillip Rivers and Matt Ryan way past their prime?
Well, here's the thing. Phillip Rivers.
You know what they could have done? You know what they could have done that they did not do, and everyone kind of scoffed at. Now, watch. Jimmy Garoppolo could be wearing the horseshoe right now. And that's what they should have done. But they didn't want to give up a 7th-round pick in 2027 to get Jimmy Garoppolo, so they didn't know. We're going to wait till he's a free agent.
And going back, and on top of that, going back to 2 years ago, we traded our 13th overall pick for DeForest Buckner. If we would have kept that pick, that was the Herbert Tua. You could have made moves there. They, like you said, they haven't made a move on a young guy yet, and they keep trying these veterans. Well, if the O-line don't play great,
the good news is if you let's say you lose the next 2 games, then you start just tanking for whatever quarterback next year.
Yeah, put in Sam Ellinger, lose some games, and just tank to the.
Yeah, I haven't really done a deep dive on all the different quarterbacks coming out, but if you get to that point, man, I would start just tank it. Hey, Jonathan Taylor, we're gonna make up a fake injury, and you're just gonna rehab all year long.
The quarterback class next year is looking really nice. By the way, there will be some. Well, you never know how they pan out at the NFL level.
Freaking Matt Ryan or Tannehill, and I'll tell you what, Malik Willis ain't setting the world on fire. Now, I think the Titans won't draft a quarterback next year, no matter how bad they do, because they got Malik Willis. They're going to try to make him work, but we got a commercial. We'll be back in a flash when we come back. It is college football talk here on the Armchair Quarterbacks.
Let's go.
You're listening to CBS Sports Radio. We are all sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Strong opinions and your phone calls. Expected here. CBS Sports Radio.
Hey, football fans, the Armchair Quarterback Show is back Saturday mornings, 9 a.m. to noon Eastern. A 3-hour wake-up show that'll cover it all. College football, the NFL, fantasy football, and Major League Baseball. It's the Armchair Quarterback Show, 9 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern, Saturday mornings, right here on the Armchair Quarterbacks 1 YouTube channel.
The Glory Hole Theme Park. We all like speaking rodents to entertain and educate our kids. And now with Jerry Gerbil, the kids have someone they can really relate to.
Go on, kids, have fun. I know it's safe.
Glory Hole Theme Park. Open every day till 3 a.m. Come live the mystery.
TGIF on the Armchair Quarterbacks. Justin Waller and Mac McGee are back at it every Friday evening right here on the Armchair Quarterbacks YouTube channel and your local CBS Sports affiliates. We're talking the NFL, Major League Baseball, Southern football, so grab you a cold one. It's finally Friday on the Armchair Quarterbacks. Waller and McGee getting you ready for your sports weekend. Hey, Braves fans, the Armchair Quarterbacks YouTube channel are bringing you Braves baseball all season long. Hi, I'm Mac McGee, and I'll be bringing you Braves baseball play-by-play for the Braves fans out there, for all of Braves country. So pull up an armchair and join us for Braves country baseball, first pitch to last pitch, Tuesday and Friday nights, right here on the Armchair Quarterbacks YouTube channel. Join the Armchair Quarterback Show for its 9th season. And this year, we're doing it all in one show. Saturday mornings, 9 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern, we'll be talking college football, the SEC, the Big Ten, other big games of the day. We'll be diving into the National Football League, focusing on the Southern football teams and all the big matchups throughout the land. And doing it while covering the point spreads, the over-unders, the prop bets, fantasy football. We'll tell you who to start and who to sit, and everybody's favorite, the stupid underdog picks. We'll cover Major League Baseball all the way through October and beyond. It's the Armchair Quarterback Show, 9 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern, Saturday mornings on Armchair Quarterbacks1 YouTube channel. College football Saturday. What do y'all got planned this weekend?
Well, I think I'm going to watch some of the games at home. I think Joey and I might be having some friends over to watch some of the games. There are a good slate of games today, so probably just throw back a couple of cold ones, throw a couple games on the big screens, and enjoy them with friends and family and watch them in the man cave.
I am looking forward to today. So Tennessee plays Florida 3:30 Eastern. At the same time, Braves are going to be playing at 4 o'clock. I think it's 4:05 first pitch. I think we're getting good weather. The hurricane's not bearing down on us yet. That'll be late or middle of next week. They've renamed it. It's no longer going to start with an H. It's going to be Ian, I think is what they said last night. Hurricane Ian. And for folks who don't know what I'm talking about, there's a hurricane that's out down well south of Cuba right now, but by Wednesday-ish, they expect it to be hitting Florida. They said it could be a category 3 or 4, so it could be a pretty good sized storm. I think by the time it gets to the Jacksonville area, it will be only probably a 2-ish, maybe 3. I saw a great comment by someone last night in social media. They were bugging out about the hurricane, what to do and what to buy and what to get. And the guy goes, dude, I don't even lock my doors for anything below a category 4.
He enjoys the shine.
That is Florida, baby. That is Florida for you. People don't understand. We don't bug out about hurricanes here in Florida. Like, man, it's a part of life. Mm-hmm. And what it normally means is it's a good time to drink some cold beer. That's
absolutely
what it means. You get the hurricane parties. It sucks when you lose power. Don't get me wrong. That part sucks, but Shoot, it'll be warm enough with enough intoxicants that I'll probably try to float around in my pool.
When's the last time that happened?
What's that?
Yeah, where you lost power? Has it been a while?
Not really. I don't believe last year, but I believe the year before.
Gotcha.
You know, you'll lose it. Our power company's pretty good at, well, they have been in the past. JEA now is getting raked over the coals by most folks because their rates have gone through the damn roof. It is ridiculous what our electric bill has been the last couple of months. But as far as getting power back on, they're usually pretty good about it. The ones that neighbor us, Florida Light Power, that a lot of people have in this area, they have routinely been known to go days and days and days without power. So that sucks. But outside of that, you know, we do have a generator, but you can only generate so much stuff.
Right.
What we would typically, and usually the good news about hurricanes, when you do lose power, normally right after that, it's not terribly hot. Usually it's followed by pretty good weather. But if it hits us hard and we lose power, you just kind of have to deal with it. Like, there's not a whole lot you can do.
That's kind of how it is in our area with tornadoes as well. If you survive the tornado and the power outage part of it, it's usually followed by decent weather as long as everything's good around you.
Yeah, tornadoes are a different animal because tornadoes pop up out of nowhere and there's
random.
You know, what happens with hurricanes is it's the build up, the anticipation, knowing that this terrible weather's coming, and then some of them sit on you because a tornado's like that.
Exactly.
So, you know, if you're lucky enough not to get hit by one, okay. If you get hit by one, it's devastating.
Yep.
Hurricane can sometimes sit on you for almost a day. And that's what, so, you know, you got the wind, the rain, and hurricanes normally come off of, tornadoes spin off of hurricanes. That's usually the most dangerous part of it.
Yeah, then you got tropical storm before to deal with as well. Just a whole bunch of mess with hurricanes.
But those of us who have lived in these tropical areas know what the hurricane's about, and everyone panics still because it's from folks from out of state. I guarantee you right now, Publix is getting dusted for water. I guarantee you, they're loaded. People who don't drink 3 glasses of water the entire year are out buying 7 cases.
Toilet papers flying off the shelves, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, you don't worry about it as much if you're in a hurricane. You don't have toilet paper. You stick your butt out the window, right? It's like a natural bidet.
Bidet from the gods.
Yeah.
The wind's blowing the right direction.
All right, college football. Let's get into it.
Let's do it.
See, I'm going to share the screen so we get some. Whoops. Wrong button. Go back again.
I keep switching my super.
There we go.
I keep switching my super underdog pick. There's so many good, fun games today, I feel like.
Curious to see who ends up taking Florida on the stupid underdog. I know somebody will.
I wonder who.
It's not happening. Tennessee's going to burn the doors off of Florida today. All right, let's go ahead and start. We'll go ahead and start in the SEC, Florida, Tennessee. We'll talk a little bit about more of this a little later. But this is the game in college football today. Tennessee ranked number 11 in the country if they get the W like they should. But strange things have happened in this rivalry. Tennessee will leap into the top 10, and I think most folks are going to rank them pretty high. I think they'll be ranked somewhere in the top 7. I think they're going to leapfrog some folks that might even win today. Tennessee's a 10.5-point favorite. I think they'll probably cover the spread, but that line's still too rich for my blood.
Yeah, a little rich for mine as well. I mean, I love what Tennessee's doing, especially Jalen Hyatt. He's got 3 touchdowns on the year in as many games. I feel like that place, I know it's going to be rocking. But that 10.5, you could see that backdoor cover playing a factor. There's a lot of things where they could be up comfortably, maybe put a little, steady on it. So I would be a little too rich on the spread as well.
That half point's a big hook.
What are we looking at? I don't know if it's because of the way I have the screen smaller. What is the over under? There it is. Over under 63. So Florida, I think, is going to try to slow the game down.
I actually like the under in that.
Yeah, I think the under is something that could be grabbed. Now, it's going to be tight, but I think that they could 63. What that's telling you right there is that Tennessee to win somewhere around the 35 to 27 type range. 36-26 is essentially what they're telling us. I think Florida's going to try to do their best to wind that down, to try to, because they want to keep Hooker and the Tennessee offense off the field. They do not want to get in a shootout. Because as we've seen over these first 3 games, a team that very well could be 0-3 is 2-1. I just don't believe that Anthony Richardson is the quarterback that they all thought he was.
And look at that. Tickets as low as $259. No other ticket is above $32. You could tell Tennessee fans are amped for the first time in a while about their football program.
Yeah, they're that place is going to be rocking.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I have been to Neyland Stadium, and when they have a good team and they're excited about that team and they've got a big game, there's no other place like it on the planet. It is an absolute zoo. For folks who are not familiar with Knoxville and the Tennessee Volunteers, they will have about 100 and we'll say, we'll just call it lower than what it will be, but around 110,000 people in that stadium. It's one of the largest stadiums in college football in sports. Now it goes back and forth. Them and Michigan go back and forth doing an arms race. I never know who's got the biggest, but it's between
102,455 it holds. Wow.
What's that?
102,000.
No, much more than that.
Well, that's what it said. No, that's what it says on
that is what it'll say the capacity is, but I'm telling you, it'll be over 110,000.
Wow.
Because they'll find a way to squeeze them in.
I got you. I got what you're saying.
Yeah, it's technically 102,000, but I know I've seen the t-shirts too many times that it's well over 110. So you'll get over 110,000 people in there.
Unbelievable.
And it is an old stadium. Like, I've been to that stadium. I expected the first time when I went there, I was like, this place is going to be huge, rocking. It is tiny behind the scenes. You go walking to like the concessions, there is no room. It is ridiculous.
Even Notre Dame, college stadiums to me, when they were built so long ago, they're kind of just tight, and their NFL stadiums are a lot newer and more. I feel like you get more room and stuff. These college stadiums, they just pack it in and want people to go nuts.
Yeah, so you're gonna have games kicking off at 3:30. So what my day is gonna look like, if it's warm enough, I'm hoping that it is. I know we're getting clear skies, but the question is, it actually got down to the high 70s yesterday, so that might have cooled the pool off. But my plan is to put Vols and Gators on my big screen, bring another device to watch Braves game, and I can always see a third TV through the living room window, and so I'll have that on something. But that's going to be my afternoon. Then Florida State plays Boston College tonight at 8. So that works out perfectly. I don't have to pick and choose. I swear it seems like most of the time when Tennessee plays a big game, they're kicking off at the same time as Florida State. And it sucks because I'm like, well, what the hell do I do? Like, which one do I listen to, right?
And that's the worst when you got 2 games you want to watch, 2 teams you want to watch, and whether it's college or football, they're at the same time. You could have 2 TVs, but it's still not ideal.
I can tell you this. So my wife's helping out with some charity, and she won't be home till well after kickoff of the Florida State game. It's going to be litty in my pool by around halftime of Florida State Boston College.
What's good?
I may not make it to the hurricane. I might be face down.
I was gonna say, what's gonna be more lit, the hurricane or Mac in the pool?
I heard Antonio Brown might be heading to Mac's house later to
go, baby. Get some California sunshine rocking.
We came full circle on that one. Oh boy.
The other big, so give me a prediction. I've got the Vols rolling the Gators. I say this is why I'm so worried to take the line either way. I think it's probably going to be 41-20, but I'll be more conservative and I'll say something like 38-28. And that's why I'm kind of staying away from the line.
Yeah, I'm not too far off from you. I'm going 31-21 Tennessee.
And I'm going 33-24 Tennessee. I got Florida barely covering, playing close early on, but then I think Tennessee just has their way with them as the second half goes on.
The next big game in the Southeastern Conference is Arkansas, Texas A&M. Two teams ranked. Just like Florida, I think Texas A&M is overranked. Arkansas struggled, but they might have been looking ahead last week. They struggled against Missouri State. They needed some special teams play to win that game.
I think they were down 17-0 at one point.
Yeah, and they needed a punt return, and I think there was something else. It was a punt. I wasn't focused on that game. I was watching it while I was watching the Florida game and Braves were on and whatnot. But I know there was a punt return, and then there was another long play late in the game that they finally kicked the door open. But Arkansas very well could have lost that game. I'm still saying Arkansas is going to win today.
Yeah, I think
Jimbo Fisher is 0-4 against the spread against the Arkansas Razorbacks. And I know they're playing in Jerry's world, but they always play this game in Jerry's world because Arkansas is not too far from Dallas. A&M obviously is not too far from Dallas. And remember something, Jerry Jones is an Arkansas alum.
That's a fun little twist in it.
He played football for the Arkansas Razorbacks way back years ago. His teammate was Jimmy Johnson, and that's how Jimmy Johnson became the head coach of the Cowboys.
Wow, that's a blast from the past.
So with that being said, A&M, man, but this is a game they have to win. I think Arkansas is probably going to win it, but I'm steering clear of it because A&M has got to win this game. If they fall to Arkansas again, they'll be 2-2. They won't be ranked. There's going to be some really ugly questions asked.
Yeah, Jimbo might get that Herm Edwards treatment where their staffers start trying to get him out of the building if they lose.
And what is that about?
Yeah, did you hear that? It seems like Arizona State had some foolery going on with leaking information to opposition teams for Herm Edwards to try and get fired. Crazy time.
Did you ever hear the actual breakdown of that? Because I just saw the rumor, but I didn't see anything else. So it could just be headline junk.
True. It could very well be headline junk as well. A little more confirmed article came out yesterday that staffers were at least trying to attempt to share information. So I guess we'll got to wait and see what ends up coming of that. But we all know Arizona State's heading in a downward spiral as a college football program at this point in time.
You play to win the game.
Ish. Unless you're at Arizona State. I don't understand it because he seems like he's a hell of a guy.
Mm-hmm.
He seems like he's a pretty good coach, and I don't understand why they're trying to push him out the door.
Maybe maybe his old school mentality. They're soft these days. Kids are soft. Maybe he has a little too hard school approach. I don't know, but it seems fishy.
And he had a cushy job in the booth. And remember, Arizona State went hard after him to get him to become their next head coach. So kind of crazy how the tails have turned in just 5 short seasons.
I would want to find out who was doing this if it's true. It may not even be true. It might be total garbage. But I would want to find out who's doing this and fire his ass.
Correct.
Absolutely.
Because how are you going to trust him at all moving forward, for further future coaching staffs as well? You just can't.
Yeah, I'm not. That's kind of the point. I'm not going to do it.
Exactly.
Anyways, Arkansas A&M. I'll take Arkansas. What's the over under 51? I think I love the under in that one. What might be a fun one is to tease Arkansas A&M and the Tennessee-Florida game and take the under. So you get the tease, add 6 points to both, and I feel a lot better about that.
Yeah, and viewer watching, a Nebraska fan says the program actually in worse shape than Nebraska, Arizona State.
The A&M only scored 17 points on Miami, and Arkansas's defense is much stronger.
Yeah, I was on Arkansas until you mentioned Jerry Jones. I'm going against him now, and I'm going to go with the Aggies, and I'm going to go against Jerry Jones today. Let's go A&M.
By the way, good job by ESPN finally picking a decent night game.
Mm-hmm.
Last year, and I guess maybe it's just because affiliations have changed. Last year, that was a damn noon kickoff. I think it was on Fox. Whatever the hell I watched on. I remember watching and going, this is terrible that it was an early game. I do remember that. I believe they've all been early games until this is the first time I remember it being a night game, and good job, because that's actually one that you can look forward to tonight. Tones, split the tie. I'm going Arkansas. He's going A&M. Which one are you going with?
I'm going Arkansas on this one as well. I just think A&M's been crapping the bed a little bit with Jimbo, and I think he continues to do so. I think Arkansas wins a close one. I got them winning 27-24 Arkansas.
All right. Well, Joey, the hell's wrong with Notre Dame?
Last week in South Bend, and they played decent football. They beat, Cal. They were traveling from the West, came all the way down to the Midwest here. And, they almost came back at the last play of the game, but they have a tough matchup at North Carolina today. I don't know a lot about them this year, but they're unbeaten. The spread is small, though, so I'm staying away from that game. As a Notre Dame fan, I'll just be watching it, hoping they come away with the victory in that middle time slot of games. But on the road at North Carolina, I don't see much, as the offense has struggled mightily for Notre Dame, not only at the quarterback position, but at receiver as well.
Well, I know you're saying that they didn't play bad football. I think they played terrible football because they were playing a terrible team, and a Hail Mary almost lost in the game. And it would concern me. Now, Sean sent this text a couple of times to Trosh and I last week, and do you think you might have gotten Tyrone Willingham in? That you got a coach that just isn't that good that they've put up there at the front? Was this a panic hire?
I think that's too early to say after 3 weeks.
I mean, I do too, to a degree, but
they don't have a quarterback.
The thing is, I agree with that, but they did rush the coaching search for Marcus Freeman. They didn't really do their thorough investigating of other candidates as well. So I think it is too early to write him off, but at the same time, Notre Dame could have done a hell of a lot better coaching search for their program as prestigious as Notre Dame. It was a little rushed and a little inexperienced for my tastings.
All right, let me put it this way. They're at North Carolina because I know you got to run. We're coming at the end of the segment. They're at North Carolina. North Carolina's a 2.5-point favorite. The over-under is 56.5. What's your prediction?
I'll bet North Carolina is going to win that game by 7 points. I would not say strong to, like I said, Notre Dame's quarterback just struggles. And if they're going to get points on the road early, it could colossally downslide. So I would take North Carolina and give the points, and that's coming from a huge Notre Dame fan, as you all know. But I haven't seen enough. A little bit last week, but not nearly enough in the backup quarterback to have faith in Notre Dame.
I think that quarterback May for North Carolina is phenomenal. They're going to have a hard time slowing them down. I think North Carolina is going to win this too. I'm pulling for you, but with it being in North Carolina, now the good news is it kicks off at the same time as Florida, Tennessee, so no one's going to know it happened.
You're not fully wrong.
But North Carolina, I don't know what the over-under's got to be around 28 for the team. I can't pull it up right now. I'm having an issue with the site I normally pull it up. But North Carolina should get 28 points.
I think so. I mean, like the time of possession, unless Notre Dame can get a steady run game, which has been the only positive to their offense, I could see North Carolina up close to a 30 spot.
What say you, Tones?
Yeah, this is one of those where Notre Dame doesn't really have a quarterback. They're man down. You think they're down and out. I do think North Carolina wins, but I think it's a close one. I think Notre Dame plays a little bit more methodical football, but I think North Carolina's offense is just a little bit too much for Notre Dame in this one. I got North Carolina winning 30-21 against Notre Dame. I think Notre Dame fights hard on the road. They keep it close for a while, but at the end of the day, they're just not looking like a great football team. As you alluded to, they did beat Kel last week, but Kel's not that great, and Kel almost won on a Hail Mary. So ugly football from Notre Dame to this point. You hope it gets better as the year progresses.
Yeah, just, man, if you start off 1-3, I know they're not going to fire him. You're stuck with this guy for at least 2 seasons.
Well, and he's got to get his players in here, right? I mean, this is a lot. This is a season where they got overranked at number 5.
Oh, I've heard this story before, but go ahead and sell it to me, the Notre Dame version.
No, I mean, look at it this way. He doesn't have
name was Willie Taggart.
He doesn't have a great recruit. You got to give it RELAX. We got to give him some time. We got let him get some games under his belt. It looks ugly right now. It has not been good. You're right, but let's see what happens.
And he is very young.
Go in there and get boat race today. What if they get smashed by a North Carolina team that almost lost to Georgia State?
Well, I'm not fazed by much as the Colts got smashed by the Jaguars, so I'm used to watching blowouts.
I'm not talking about your feelings. I'm talking about
I know.
You just sit there and go, man, we might need to start looking elsewhere.
Well, Marshall already did a number on Notre Dame this year too.
Would anything make you want to replace him outside of some scandal this year?
If we go under 500, I'd be very disappointed.
Oh, I think you're definitely going under 500.
The schedule has its moments. We only have a couple times. We have USC. That will be a tough game, but there's some easy ones in there as well.
The next 3 games could be losses. North Carolina, BYU, and maybe Stanford. I think they're going to lose to Syracuse for sure. They're going to lose to Clemson.
Yeah, Clemson's a loss.
Southern Cal is on the road.
That's a loss.
So let's just say it's BYU, North Carolina, Syracuse, Clemson, and Southern Cal.
Yeah, they're going to be around 5 or 6 wins only.
That's gonna make them 5-7.
Yeah, it's going to be a disappointing. It's going to be a long year. I'm not going to have a lot.
Would you fire them? Is what I'm saying. What would Notre Dame to go? We're done.
A scandal or something. You got to give them a second year.
So we'll go ahead and let you go, and you need to start figuring out how you can Herm Edwards him.
Well, should I throw you my lock and my super underdog quick?
Yes.
Really quickly then. I'm going to go for my lock as Michigan State. I went against them last week and took Washington, which worked out well. But they're getting points at home. I know Minnesota has started 3-0, but I'm liking Michigan State getting points at home. Their offense had some decent moments last week after the terrible first quarter against Washington. But I think they recover nicely at home. I'll take the 3 points at Michigan State. And then my super underdog, I was battling for a while. This is more of a homer pick being a Colts fan. Indiana is 3-0 low key, and I know they haven't looked great or beat a lot of good teams, but they're getting 16.5 at Cincinnati, and I need a win here by super underdog. So I'm just hoping Indiana surprises some people. They're in the time slot with Tennessee, Florida, so not a lot of people will be watching them on ESPN2. But I'm taking the 16.5 with Indiana on the road at Cincinnati for my super underdog, and Michigan State is
All
my
right,
lock.
you confuse the hell out of me. What game are you talking about?
Indiana at Cincinnati is my super
Okay, because
underdog.
you were talking about the Colts, and then you say Indiana, then you say Cincinnati. I'm like, are the Colts playing?
It's a homer pick.
Indiana Hoosiers.
Same state, just making a homer pick and taking the Indiana squad.
Hoosiers. Okay. All right.
Yep. Yes, sir.
So you're keeping the Hoosiers on the stupid underdog pick, and they're getting 16.5. Okay.
Yep. And the Michigan State's my lock.
Gotcha. I was like, what is he talking about? Because I was about to jot down Colts, and then I was like, wait a minute, is he talking about the Jets and Bengals? Like, what is going on here? All right.
I had a Tourette's moment. Colts are Sunday. Hopefully they don't.
I might have just misunderstood you. What is your walk-off for the day, sir?
For the love of God, if you all like me and want me to be on the show in the future, Colts, don't lose like you did against Jacksonville last week, please. For my health and morality, we're in week 3. I can't take this any longer. We've looked like the worst. We were the worst team in professional sports on last Sunday, and that is very sad to say. That does not happen often. Do not get embarrassed.
The Colts look like Jake Odorizzi was pitching for him.
Maybe worse.
No chance. No chance of winning the game. Like, yeah. I went from I get to call a Spencer Strider game to God dog it freaking Odorizzi.
Oh, you guys have a great day.
All right, brother. We'll see you.
Yep. Have a good one, Bobby.
Hey, Joe.
We're going to take a 60-second break. When we come back, Bobby's joining us, and we will get into our stupid underdog picks. So, guys, go ahead and get to pulling those up. We will be back in a flash here on the Armchair Quarterbacks. Join the Armchair Quarterbacks show for its 9th season. And this year, we're doing it all in one show. Saturday mornings, 9 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern. We'll be talking college football, the SEC, the Big Ten, other big games of the day. We'll be diving into the National Football League, focusing on the Southern football teams and all the big matchups throughout the land. And doing it while covering the point spreads, the over-unders, the prop bets, fantasy football. We'll tell you who to start and who to sit. And everybody's favorite, the stupid underdog picks. We'll cover Major League Baseball all the way through October and beyond. It's the Armchair Quarterback Show, 9 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern, Saturday mornings on Armchair Quarterbacks 1 YouTube channel. Some of the songs they sent me. I didn't know where that lady was going. Welcome back here to CBS Sports Radio, YouTube Live. If you want to join us on YouTube, it's Armchair Quarterbacks 1 to youtube.com. Armchair Quarterbacks and the numeral 1. And Bobby joins us. Bobby, how are you, sir?
I'm doing great. I'm looking forward to my favorite college football game of the year.
Bobby Schneider taking it one day at a time. Where were you? Let me see. So you're 1-1 on your locks, and you have. I think you're leading now. Yes, you're leading at 17 points for the stupid underdog picks as Cal did cover.
Yep.
Doug is right behind you with 15, and then everyone else is much further behind. I've not gotten off the schneid yet. Me and I think that's it. Me and the two guys who haven't joined us in a while, which get automatic L's every time. So here we go. Let's start off with the locks. Where y'all going with your locks this week?
You want me to go first, or Tones? You got?
Yeah, sure.
Cool.
Sure.
All I'm going to the NFL for my lock of the week. I got Giants -2. I'm messing that up. Tone, did you get it real quick? I meant to write something else down.
Yeah, I'll go real quick. I had a little bit of luck with an over-under last week to get me off the schneid for our lock of the week. So I'll stay consistent this week. I was between two over-unders, one in the NFL field, one in the college football field. I'm sticking with the college football field in this one. I like the over in a game today that's on FS1 at 3:30 Eastern time. That's Toledo at San Diego State. The over-unders the over-unders at 45, and I like the over in this one.
What conference are they in, Tones?
San Diego State is in the WAC, and Toledo is in, the MAC. I think the MAC Toledo might be in. So
they are definitely not in the WAC. So let's see if I can find them.
San Diego State, they're in the one with, aren't they with Boise State and those guys, or am I mistaken?
They're probably in the Big West.
Oh, Big West, that could be it for sure.
Or is it called the Mountain West now?
Yeah, Mountain West. That's what I meant. They're in the Mountain West Conference.
You're taking the over 45 points.
Yeah, and that one is Toledo averages just north of 28 points a game this year. San Diego
Nobody
State
watches either one of those teams, so let's move on. Bobby, what you got?
I meant to change it from last week. I had Giants -2 written down. But Joey, I'm sorry if you're still watching. I got Chiefs -5.5. After how they looked last week against Jacksonville, I don't have much more confidence in them going up against one of the best offenses in the league. I think the Chiefs are going to roll through them. I got them at -5.5.
I swear that feels like a sucker bet. I get where you're coming from.
Mm-hmm.
Every time there's a bet that's too good to be true in the NFL, man, I get nervous putting money on them.
I have no confidence in their
I know, but who would have thought the Jaguars would blow out the Colts, right? And another one that smells bad to me. And it's and I get that they don't know what quarterback is going to play, but the Jaguars, where's that line at? Is it still 3? Yeah. They're only a 3-point underdog to the Chargers. That shouldn't be. And if you jump on it right now and Herbert plays, you would think you'd be okay, but somehow the Chargers win 26-25, right? You just get screwed out of it.
Too sketchy.
I'm going to go to the NFL. I don't do it very often, but I'm playing with house money. I'm 2-0 on my pick. So what the hell? I'm going to take the Titans, man. They're at home. They're a 2-point underdog against the Raiders. Both teams are winless. Titans, if you're not going to win this weekend, when the hell are you going to win? I'm going to take the fact that I think that Henry's going to have a big game against the Raiders. I do not think they're going to be able to stop them very easily, but I think it's going to be an ugly, disgusting game where Tennessee somehow they either win outright or Vegas has it right and Tennessee loses by a point. So I'll take the home team and the money.
Oh, this is the last chance for both those teams, I'd say. They fall to 0-3.
It is for the Raiders. If the Raiders go 0-3, they're done. The Titans are in the worst division of football. They could go
go
1-4 and still probably be in it. That's how bad that division is. But it's not ideal. That's not what you want. Okay, stupid underdog picks. Tones, what you got?
I got the Fighting Greg Schianos in this one as the Rutgers are home against Iowa. That game is 7:00 Eastern time on FS1.
You sure? Because that's a major conference. Are you sure you want to pick that?
Yes, I do, my friend. Rutgers are +8 at home against Iowa. That game's 7:00 Eastern on FS1. Rutgers are 3-0 this year. Iowa's offense has been abysmal. That over-under is the lowest over-under I've damn near ever seen. It's sitting right at 34 points right now. So it'll be a really low-scoring affair. I just hope Rutgers could come out on top. I like the battle they've shown in Schiano since he's been rehired over there. And Iowa has just looked deflating this year. They haven't really looked good at all. And I think that trend continues today. Their offense is just so damn terrible. So let me get the Rutgers kicking off at 7 Eastern on Fox Sports 1.
Bobby, are you taking the Gators for your stupid underdog pick?
How'd you know? How did you know?
Well, I figured you were. If you weren't, then I was going to say let's wait until Steven joins us at 11. But since we're about to talk Florida, Tennessee, I'll go ahead and put you down for UF getting 10.5 on the stupid underdog pick. Tell me why you think the Gators will make this interesting.
Well, if history repeats itself at all, we seem to have their number. I know they've beaten us once fairly recently, but over the last 15 years, I believe they have one win against us. So I have some confidence going into this game with that on our side. And they have some trouble stopping running quarterbacks. I know we've kind of slowed down how much Anthony Richardson has run the ball, but if we get him involved in the running game today, I see us making it close at least.
Repeat after me. Anthony Richardson is trash.
I'm not saying that. Come on now. I have hope. I'm clinging on to hope.
Boat raced.
On to hope, man.
I still wouldn't take Tennessee minus 10.5 because this rivalry, I've seen the worst team win too many times in this. I remember one specifically where it was a downpour rain about, I don't know, it feels like 30 years ago. It might not be quite that long ago, at least 20. And Tennessee loses in Knoxville because they couldn't stop fumbling the ball. It was absurd. It was pick six after. It was ridiculous. Tennessee was definitely the better team. This was either right before or right after their national championship year. Really good team. Could not get their head out of their ass.
Florida always seems to have luck against them. I mean, with missed field goals, Hail Marys, you name it.
I just think this Tennessee's team's ready. Kind of like what we just said about the Titans. If you're not going to win now, when are you going to? If you're not going to beat the Florida Gators this year in Knoxville with this squad versus that squad, who should have lost to South Florida, who should have lost to Utah, they should be 0-3. This line is actually a broken line, in my opinion. I think Tennessee is 14, 17 points better than Florida. But because of what Bobby mentioned with the history of the rivalry, and because Florida has a false ranking, the line is sitting at 10.5. It sounds like a big number. It's enough where most people are going to lay their money down.
I will agree with the false ranking part. I don't think Florida should be ranked right now. Absolutely not.
Anthony Richardson is not what everyone remember last year. All we could hear was bench Emory Jones. This guy's the man. This guy's the man. Well, now we might be seeing why the hell he wasn't the man and why they didn't want to start him. I'm not ready to say that by any stretch of the imagination. Am I ready to say that that it was a bad hire for Billy Napier? I think he's dealing with the cards he was dealt, and we'll see what happens. I got to see Napier by year 3 for me to. He hasn't had like a disastrous start like Notre Dame has had, right? He lost one game to a good Kentucky team. He found a way to lose or to win a game he should have lost to a Utah team that I still don't think is very good. In the grand scheme, I mean, they're going to go to a bowl game. They're not terrible, but as far as national state, they weren't the number 7 team in the country. Is my point. Okay, South Florida did South Florida type things. They had the better team on the field last week and found a way to lose that. Man,
yeah, if we would have lost that game, that would have been pretty demoralizing.
Thankfully,
I wasn't able to even watch it. I'm glad I wasn't able to watch it because it didn't look.
I'm starting to worry about your mental health. I mean, between the Cardinals and
hey, man, I've gotten used to it at this point. That's
at least
life.
The Tampa Bay Rays, they're back at the top of the wild card standings. They're tied with Toronto. I think I saw this morning. So good for them.
I'd maybe tune in for a playoff game, but I would take probably one Cardinals playoff win over Rays World Series. Seriously. That's the difference.
That's because you're not an American. You're a terrible human being, and no, you're wrong. You would take the Rays. You would take one Rays playoff win over the Cardinals 3 Super Bowls is what you would do.
If I could just get a Cardinals Super Bowl, man, I wouldn't need anything else in sports. I'd be happy for life.
Do you remember the one they were in?
I don't remember it too well. I was like 4 or 5 at the time.
Remind me, why are you a Cardinals fan? Is it because of Kyler Murray or is it because of something
Madden?
else?
It was because it was actually after that Super Bowl. Troy Polamalu and Larry Fitzgerald, they were on the cover of Madden, and I had to pick one of the 2 teams at like the start of the game. I picked the Cardinals, and that just
that's why you're an Arizona Cardinal fan, because of a video game.
Look, I regret it. I'm not proud of it. It's unfortunate. I made the wrong choice. I made the wrong choice.
Your
McGee's
generation
looking.
is garbage.
McGee's looking if he's got any of the California sunshine left after hearing that one.
Good Lord.
You'd be shocked how many people find their teams from Madden, though. It's increasingly more common. I hear more people say it.
Nowadays, it is for sure. The past
Mm-hmm.
10 years or so, especially, I think that's where, I feel like a lot of kids on Sundays don't even watch the TV half the time. They're just playing their
Because
video
that generation is garbage. I mean, what are you doing?
Clueless morons, honestly.
I thought I was a Raiders fan when I was a kid. The little plastic helmets that used to come out of the vending machine.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a quarter, and that was my allowance. 4 weeks in a row, I took that quarter to the grocery store and got a helmet. And 3 of the 4 weeks was the Raiders. So I thought I was a Raiders fan. My grandfather straightened my ass out on that one real quick.
I liked Purdue for a long time because I got one of their helmets out of one of those machines.
Mm-hmm.
I was a Purdue fan.
I like Purdue because they had L-Stop back in the day, but once they started having guys that I wasn't fans of, I like the Big Ten, but yeah, my Purdue fandom fell when L-Stop left.
I like Purdue because Bob Greasy went there, and that was my first football team my first pro football team. I was a Dolphins fan. After my grandfather told me we weren't going to be no damn Raider fans in Jacksonville, Florida. He said that was right. I'm glad he did, because you know what kind of a terrible life I would have lived. Back then, that was long before Red Zone or long before NFL Ticket. How would I have ever seen an Oakland Raider football game back then?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and I would have been a douche. I would have been dressing with Raider garb. That's like being a Miami Hurricane fan. Ugh. Just look like an absolute tool when you wear that stuff. Yeah. Oh, I mean, yeah. like an Eminem wannabe, No. It would have been terrible.
Well, thank God it turned out that you got straightened out by Grandpa.
Thank God. I got to watch Dan Marino play for almost 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of what the hell would I be watching?
Ironically enough, my old man's favorite 2 teams growing up were the Dolphins and Raiders as well. So pretty wild.
It was Jim Plunkett and I'm trying to remember who the other. See, Doug's different. Doug, he's an Oakland Raider fan from way back, but he was Oakland Raider fan before they became the douchey fan base, right? The douchey fan base. If you're a Raider fan in the late 80s into, we'll say, early 2000s, it was the douchey fan base.
That's when my dad stopped.
The Miami Hurricanes, they're in lockstep. Same thing with Trosh and Brian. They're not Hurricane fans because of the douchey fan base. They lived in that area. I forget why Doug likes Oakland. I don't think he lived out there, but whatever. But when you see that garbage on someone's hat or whatever, that's the first thing you think of is yo, yo, yo.
What up?
Yeah. What's his name? Ice baby.
I view it the same. Ohio State gear is damn near the same around here, at least.
I don't know if it's the same level. When I'm talking about, people walking around with Mr. T's starter kits back then. They were all dressed like they thought they should be on it. Yo MTV Raps. None of them could find the team on a map. I'm talking about we're in the middle of Tennessee, in the middle of country music country, and there's these dinks that were wearing the starter jackets with the Hurricanes and the Raiders. And they were like, what's up? They're like, I'm hard. I'm from the streets. And then one guy pokes him in the mouth and, he cries and runs away. That guy.
Yep. Yeah, not necessarily like that. I just remember
at least the Cardinals will never take you down that path. I wouldn't think, Bobby.
Not anytime soon, I don't think.
Nope.
Cardinals aren't cool enough to have a big fan base nationally, I guess.
Like when you live in Florida, you see a Gator fan and you're a Florida State fan, and you're like, ugh. Same thing. If you see a Florida fan, if you're a Florida fan, you see a Florida fan, you go, ugh. You see a Miami fan, we both just laugh. Ding.
Third one to the party, Miami fan.
Living on the past. You're living. Talk about a clown from the 60s, man. That's where I think of when I think of Miami Hurricane football. All right. before Steven jumps on here, let's talk a little more college football. By the way, real quick prediction, Tennessee, Florida, what you got? I've got Tennessee win. I'm going to say 41-20, but I'm being more realistic. I'll say 38-28. What you got?
Man, I hate to do it, but I'm going to say Tennessee by about 4 points. I'll say 34-30.
That's your stupid underdog.
Well, I know, but at least they'll cover the spread. I'm hoping for a win.
Okay.
And then, if I have luck on my side, maybe, but I think Tennessee wins.
How does Florida win? Is it just because Tennessee, the moment's too big for them, they turn the ball over constantly? Like, what is your path to a victory?
Let Anthony Richardson run the ball more, and just got to have luck on our side. That has to happen.
If he throws, fill in the blank, if he throws blank passes, we are going to lose.
Ooh. It's hard to say a number, but as many times as he did in the last 2 games, I'd say. We got to get how we operated during the Utah game, that's how we need to play again. And I know Napier
how many passes
to keep him from running more.
How many passes is too many passes?
I can't even think of a number off the top of my head. I mean,
if he attempts 40, is that too many?
I'd say so, yeah.
Okay. I mean, I do believe the way to Florida wins that game is to literally take the air out of the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Try to make a low scoring game. That's why I really like the under in that game. It's 63, I think, is what we were talking about earlier. I mean, that is, to me, that's extremely low.
Mm-hmm.
Or high, excuse me. I think it's going to be much lower. Tones, what is your prediction of that game? Give me a score.
I think Florida hangs on close for a little bit, and then I do think they ultimately cover, but I don't think they win the game. I think it's ultimately a 30-21 type ball game in that neighborhood type. I think that Florida and Richardson look good at the beginning, but then I think they fall behind a little bit, try and pass the ball, and it could get a little out of hand. I do think it's a closer game than a lot of people are thinking it will be, as I think Florida actually has performed well in a couple of their games. Obviously, last week they got lucky with the win against USF after they damn near crapped the bed against a bad college football program. But it's an in-state rivalry. Those type of things could happen in those type of games. So I'm interested to see how Florida bounces back in this one. And I think they at least show a fight. 30-21. I'm going with ultimately, though, Tennessee.
Tell you what, I'm going to change my I'm trying to get Dan White out over here. Good kicking. I'm going to change my lock because I remember seeing this line and I didn't realize that it had stayed there. My lock is going to be Vanderbilt, Alabama. The over-under is 59. I'm going to take the over.
I was looking at that over-under yesterday as well. That's an intriguing one. I did have one mention on the locks. I know it's hard to do, but I think we had a double lock last week. I think Joey locked Washington and Sean locked Michigan State. So maybe in the future, we try and get those guys to lock separately.
I mean, what are you going to do, man? There's 6-7 of us coming on.
No, I know.
I'm not worried about that. It's the only reason why I said you can take the same lock, you can take the same stupid underdog, because it's impossible.
Correct.
It's just it was different when we did this day by day and I could figure it, but I mean, it's too much I'm not worried about it. I saw it when it happened and I was like, well, somebody's going to be right.
Yeah. At least we're shooting 500 at that point.
And the thing is, I knew Joey was going to be right. I knew Michigan State was overrated, which is ironic because now Joey's taking Michigan State, but
Sean will take Washington this week now.
Yeah. We are coming up on the top of the hour here. Before we hit the break, we got your lock. We got your stupid underdog. What's your walk-off for the day?
My walk-off is really just enjoy it. I mean, it seems like we're still in the early stages of the football season, but we're already a month into college football. We're already 3 weeks into pro football. So you got to enjoy it. The season will be over before you know it. Those teams you're a fan of, take the time, take the 3 to 4 hours on a Saturday, take the 3 to 4 hours on a Sunday, let everything else go, enjoy those games, lock in on those games. And then if your team loses, you could throw the remote or what the hell, get mad or whatever. But just enjoy it, man. We're riding a great wave of sports right now. You got guys like Brady and Rodgers who could be done soon in the NFL. You got some really good college football quarterbacks on the up and up over there. So if you're a fan of competitive action, get your ass on the couch today for 10 hours and tomorrow for 10 hours and don't move an inch and you'll be covered in good football.
Surgeon General warning. We are not here to make anybody healthy.
Yeah, you'll have an imprint on your couch. You might
you can sit your fat ass on the couch, eat as much as you can, and go blotto. And we'll see you on Monday.
Why do you think I got this 6-pack? And I'm not talking abs, baby.
Hey, I meant to ask Joey. We went to break and he came back. He was sitting in front of. What is the 2018 flag that was sitting behind him? What does that stand for?
I bought that from Wrigley Field. So that flag is actually, or was flying up over Wrigley Field last season, and it represents the Cubs making the playoffs in the 2018 season. So
okay, I figured because it looked like Cubs colors, but I knew they won the series in 16. So okay, but that was actually flying at Wrigley at one point.
Yeah, so the Cubs kind of do it cool. If they ever make the playoffs, they'll put a flag up of the year they make it, and then if they go farther, they'll change the colors of the flag and whatnot.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, the Braves do the same thing, but it's not it looks like a pennant, but it's not actual cloth that they put up in them. But I figured it had something to do with that, but I was just curious about it.
Well, remember, Cubs are living in the 1800s still, so we got a lot of old school stuff around there.
Amen. All right, brother. We will see you next week. Good luck today against, was it Central Michigan or something that y'all playing?
Yes, sir. Penn State, Central Michigan at noon. Hoping Penn State could win a big one and move into the top 10.
Get your game face on, Penn State and Central Michigan.
Woo!
Biggie. We'll be back in a flash.
See you, gentlemen.
We'll be right back.
TGIF on the Armchair Quarterbacks. Justin Waller and Mac McGee are back at it every Friday evening right here on the Armchair Quarterbacks YouTube channel and your local CBS Sports affiliates. We're talking the NFL, Major League Baseball, and Southern football, so grab you a cold one. It's finally Friday on the Armchair Quarterbacks. Waller and McGee getting you ready for your sports weekend.
If only the world was less like this.
I could use a smoke.
Hey, put that out.
And more like this.
I could use a smoke.
You murderer! I might have...
Smoking kills unless you kill first. If you're around a smoker, you will die. Smokers may look relaxed and like they're having fun. Don't believe it. Vote yes on Proposition 421. Let's outlaw smoking everywhere, even in people's homes, and allow honest citizens to legally kill anyone who smokes. Let's live in a world without smokers. Prohibition works. Let's prove it. It's time to smoke the smokers. Vote yes on Proposition 421.
Join the Armchair Quarterback Show for its 9th season. And this year, we're doing it all in one show. Saturday mornings, 9 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern, we'll be talking college football, the SEC, the Big Ten, other big games of the day. We'll be diving into the National Football League, focusing on the Southern football teams and all the big matchups throughout the land, and doing it while covering the point spreads, the over-unders, the prop bets, fantasy football. We'll tell you who to start and who to sit, and everybody's favorite, the stupid underdog picks. And we'll cover Major League Baseball all the way through October and beyond. It's the Armchair Quarterback Show, 9 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern, Saturday mornings on Armchair Quarterbacks 1 YouTube channel. Hey, Braves fans, the Armchair Quarterbacks YouTube channel are bringing you Braves baseball all season long. Hi, I'm Mac McGee, and I'll be bringing you Braves baseball play-by-play for the Braves fans out there. for all of Braves country. So pull up an armchair and join us for Braves Country Baseball, first pitch to last pitch, Tuesday and Friday nights, right here on the Armchair Quarterbacks YouTube channel.
Bro, Blake, play for the love of the game, man. What's wrong with you, bro? Money should not be a thing. Bro, I'm risking my life. So imagine how much I'm actually making to play. You know what I'm saying? If I get the Rona, guess what happens with that? More Twitch streams for us, that's facts.
Armchair.
Saturday mornings, the Armchair Quarterbacks, a Southern tradition like no other. We dive into the Southeastern Conference and the Southern teams in the National Football League. We talk the betting lines, fantasy football. So join us Saturday mornings and get your football weekend started right with the Armchair Quarterbacks, 9 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern, right here on Armchair Quarterbacks 1 YouTube channel. Sports Radio, YouTube Live, Armchair Quarterbacks 1 on YouTube.com. Joining the show is Mr. Steven Troche alongside Bobby Schneider and me, Mac McGee. Steven, how are you?
I'm doing great. I'm still riding the high of that Dolphins win last week. Tua announcing himself to the league. I am not anywhere near as hopeful for this week, but hey, it was fun while it lasted.
You're at home. You got them on a short week. I think you've got a very good chance to pull the upset.
I don't know. It's just the Bills seem to be our kryptonite. No matter how good Dolphins are, how bad the Dolphins are, how good Bills are, how bad they are, they just always have our number. So I mean, it's going to be an interesting game.
If you're ever going to beat them, this is it. Like it's set up. They would have overconfidence like no other, crushing the Titans on Monday Night Football, coming off of a huge blowout victory over the defending world champions. If anyone's going to be full of themselves right now, it's the Buffalo Bills. So I think you've got to get. I really hope. Haven't looked, but I think we'll probably get that game because it's the 1 o'clock kickoff. And the Jaguars don't play till 4, so I'm hoping we get that locally. I think we've got a very good chance of winning that.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Bills are having some injuries in the secondary. So,
if it was a bigger line, I would have taken that as my stupid underdog pick. But 5's not enough for me to.
True.
I think it was 7 at the beginning of the week. I was hoping it was going to go like around 8 or 9. And I was going to be all about the Dolphins, but now it feels more like what it should be. I mean, honestly, I think it should be like a field goal game. I think taking Dolphins +5 would have been close to doing a lock. We'll do our locks later. Stupid underdog picks now, though. What you got? See, real quick, I'll go over the stupid underdog picks earlier for folks who are just joining us. Stupid underdogs, once again, if you cover the spread, you get 2. You don't cover the spread, -2. And if the team wins outright, you get the point spread that they're underdogs by. Doug took Kansas State 13.5 against OU. Tones took Rutgers. They're getting 8 against Iowa. Joey took the Indiana Hoosiers, getting 16.5 against Cincinnati. And Bobby took the Florida Gators, who are 10.5-point underdogs against the University of Tennessee in Knoxville. Bobby, I don't know why you're not going to that game, man. Have you ever been to a game in Knoxville?
I haven't actually. And I was considering it, I was considering when we were both 1-0. I was saying if we both go into that game 3-0, I'd consider going with a friend. But with how Florida's looked the past couple of weeks and how expensive the tickets are, I just had to hold off.
You've got 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter what the rankings are. You need to go next time. I'm telling you, it is going to be an experience you'll always remember. If that's the only game you ever make it to. Have you been to a Florida Gator game at all?
I haven't actually.
Okay, so that's even more ridiculous. But you need to go because you will have an absolute blast.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to get there early. You need to get there a couple of days before, maybe Friday night. Maybe I'll tell you what, Friday night, you get there and they've got to think. How old are you right now?
19.
That's what I thought. 2 years from now, you'll be 21, baby. 21 years old, out there, what they call the volunteer Navy. You'll have a blast. You may not even make it to the game the next day, but you will have a blast. It's anywhere between 3,000 to 5,000 yachts come up the Cumberland River right behind Neyland Stadium. They tie their boats together. Okay, I've done this a few times. It's phenomenal. It's one of the reasons why it's my second favorite team. Got nothing to do with the football team or anything like this. I do that. I had a blast. They'll anchor their boats together, and you can walk from boat to boat to boat, and people just giving you beers. If you're smart, you don't wear Gator gear that night. You just wear whatever. And
plain shirt.
Yeah. And you get free beers all night. I don't remember who they played the first time that I went to go do that. I know the second time was MTSU. So we went up there on a bus the day of the game. So we didn't get a chance to do that. But the first time I went, we played, I don't remember who the hell it was. And man, blotto by like midnight. Woke up the next morning close to Neyland Stadium, but not in the hotel that we got. Got to the hotel just in time to take a shower and get ready to go back out and start drinking again for the game. I would literally die if I went to one of those now, but you got to go, man. You got 2 years to save up. Start putting some money back. You're going to be 21 years old, Knoxville, Tennessee, Florida, Tennessee. Doesn't matter what the damn records are. It'll be fun. You got to go. That's the one game you've got to go to in your lifetime. Considering where you're from, where you live, and who your favorite team is, you've got to go to that game.
I'll hold off on the Florida gear till the day of the game, though. Nothing before that.
Florida. Now, when you go to Gainesville, they don't have quite the festivities leading up to the game. If you go to Florida, Georgia, you would. If you came to Jacksonville, Florida, Georgia, yes, show up 2-3 days before. Florida at home, they don't have quite the festivities that other college towns do. Florida State's pretty fun Friday night. I wouldn't show up before that in a Tallahassee game. Florida, they're literally will wake up that morning, and because so many of their fans don't even live in Gainesville, they drive in, so it's got a lot to do with it. But Steven, what is your stupid underdog pick today?
I'm going to go the USF Bulls over Louisville. They are currently plus 15. I mean, Louisville just has not looked good this season. I mean, they got pretty thoroughly handled last week by FSU. South Florida has a very, very good rushing offense, and I think they should have their way with that. I like the Bull, like the Cardinal defense, and I just don't. And with that, they'll be able to control the game, keep the ball out of Malik Cunningham's hands, and he's also shown some propensity to turn the ball over. So, I mean, the 15 points isn't that, that's pretty. I feel like that's pretty easy to cover. But if Cunningham turns the ball over a few times, like he has in the past, the Bulls could be in upset territory.
Yeah, that's one of the ones I had circled. I thought about taking that, but I'm not going to double down. So let me buy me a second or two and let me figure out where I'm going to go from there. I know where I'm not going. Colorado sucks. The hell, man. I watched like 3 offensive possessions of that game. I was like, what in the hell did I just – thank God I didn't actually put money on that game. What in the hell am I looking at? The game that intrigues me the most is Duke getting 7 against Kansas.
I really thought about that one too.
Those two are interesting. But I'll tell you what, Kansas is kind of impressive on who they've beaten. Duke, not so much. So I don't know if I want to go on that one. Wake Forest, I don't think they're going to be able to block Clemson, and that's the problem with that game. Is I think that line might be too small. I would have rolled the dice if it was double digits, but I just think that line might be too damn small. Real quick before I make mine, Steven, what we're going to start doing with these picks, the lineups of integrity, because we always run out of time because we don't ever have enough. The guy that won the week before is going to give us his lineup for this week. and then we'll do the team build because we just don't have time for 4 of us to go through. Bobby, if you want to give me yours real quick, I'm going to set a clock, but you're usually pretty quick anyways.
Okay.
Did Bobby win last week?
No,
I
I'm
didn't
gonna give
know.
Bobby a chance to do his for, we'll say do it 60 seconds. And then,
Okay.
I don't even know what the hell I did with those ones. I used to have all the clocks on here, but I don't know what I did with them. Bobby, give us yours real quick, and then we'll do Steven, do yours, because I'm still trying to figure out a damn stupid underdog because you kind of took mine, so I don't know what to do now.
All right, starting at quarterback, I got Kirk Cousins for 6,700 against the Lions, who have been giving up a lot of points. At running back 1, I got David Montgomery only at 5,900 against the Texans, who are 30th against running backs in fantasy. My running back 2 is Miles Sanders for 5,500 versus Washington. My wide receiver 1 is Stephon Diggs. He's the 6th most expensive wide receiver in fantasy or in DFS right now, and he's the best in fantasy as it stands. So I think 7,700 is kind of a bargain. I got Christian Kirk, my wide receiver 2, at 6,200. I think he's going to be playing from behind for most of the game against the Chargers, and I think 6,200 is a good price. Michael Thomas, I got him at 5,900. He has 18.5 and 22 points for both the weeks to start the year, and he's still pretty affordable. I say get him while you can. My tight end, I got Tyler Higbee at 4,500 against the Cardinals. The Cardinals, as I've mentioned plenty of times, they struggle stopping the tight end. Right now, they're 32nd against tight ends in fantasy. My flex, I got Devontae Smith at 5,200. I'm hoping he plays like last week, and that should be worth the $5,200 I spent on him. And then the Giants, I got them for 2,400. I picked them because they're one of the cheaper options, and they're going against Cooper Rush. So I'm hoping they keep it to a low-scoring game.
All right. So now, Steven, you can now let us know who you're taking and why. I just think it's going to be better than having 4 of us doing it, going deep dives in it. Because we know how Sean likes to give us the everybody's well, he was born in a southern Alabama back in 1972. Well, that was his dad, actually. And then by the time we're done with the segment, it's like, holy crap, we got 6 seconds to do everything else. Where are you going? And then we'll do the team build.
All right, so I'm going a little bit off the board. I really wanted to go that the Viking stack with Cousins, but I feel like that's going to be fairly popular. So like this game, I'm going to be attacking a lot on Sunday, every way, shape, or form. I went Geno Smith at quarterback. He is only $5,000 on DraftKings. That is just a bargain. They have really turned that offense into a pass-first offense. So let's see if that continues. I paired him with DK Metcalf at 6,100, and then brought him back with Drake London at 5,800. He seems like a true number 1 right out the gate. I love his upside. At running back, I went Austin Eckler at 8,000, and then Leonard Fournette at 6,500. Eckler with that offense is dealing with injuries to Herbert and Keenan Allen. I think they're really going to try to feed him the ball this week against the not so good Jacksonville run defense. And then Leonard Fournette, kind of the same thing. You got Mike Evans suspended, Godwin still questionable with an injury, Julio Jones is dealing with an injury. That offense is going to run through Leonard Fournette on Sunday. And then for the rest of my lineup, I paired Michael Pittman at 6,900, and then I went back in that same game and picked up Mecole Hardman at 4,600. I think that game's going to see a lot of offense. And then my tight end, same as Bobby, Tyler Higbee at 4,500. He right now is the only active tight end on the roster, so he will be on the field. And then I went Panthers defense at 2,600, playing at home against Jameis Winston. Really not much to add there.
Okay. So let's go ahead and do our team build. And I guess I'll go ahead and go first this week. Let me see here. I'm going to do what I did with my team. I'm going to take Matt Stafford, and instead of Cooper Kupp, I'm going to give us a little more to play with here. Let's go with Allen Robinson. We'll stack him at 5,700. So Stafford and Allen Robinson, I feel like that they're going to torch that Arizona secondary, and tempted to go with Cooper Kupp, but man, that's a big difference in price, and it would kind of handicap us going forward. So I'll go Stafford and Allen Robinson. Steven, what you got?
So I didn't get any shares of this game in my my lineup. So I'm going to go a little bit off the board as well. Dalvin Cook at 7,900. We know how bad that Detroit rush defense is, and we haven't seen a Dalvin Cook game this year. And with everyone going towards the pass offense, I think he's a great pivot and just has immense upside.
Okay, so Bobby, that goes back to you.
I'm going back to receiver here. I'll get a guy who's in my lineup. Going MT at 5,900 until he proves me wrong. He's been killing it so far, and I'm hoping he continues this week.
Who's that again?
Michael Thomas.
Thomas, okay. And I did it again where it's blocking my. Okay. Okay, so we got Michael Thomas, we've got Dalvin Cook, Stafford, and Allen Robinson. Let me see here. Oh. Really tempted. I'll tell you what, I'll take the defense. Defense that I really liked, I think is undervalued this week is where are they at? Atlanta Falcons going to Seattle, only 2,700. I think that Atlanta defense is actually fairly decent, and you can't beat the price at 2,700. Most of the ones below him are just not something that you want on your stacks. So that'll help save us a little money. Steven, what you got?
I'm trying to see I want to save us a running back. I like that running back, a tight end. Bobby and I both have him in our lineup. I don't see much reason to go elsewhere. Tyler Higbee. He's in the mid 4,000s. I forget the exact price.
Yeah, I want to say it's 4,500, I think. Yep. So I took him on my team as well. I don't know. I started to. I don't know if I switched it. Sometimes I have a team on Friday, and by Saturday morning, I make one position change, and I end up changing the whole damn thing, and I can't remember it. But I know originally I had Stafford, Cup, and Higbee on my build, along with the Falcons defense. Okay, so it goes to Bobby.
All right, I'll go ahead and grab our second running back then. I'll go with Miles Sanders at 5,500. He's been putting up decent points, and if he continues doing that, he'll be worth the 5,500. And he's in a game where they should be up pretty big early.
Okay. So we got Miles Sanders at 5,500. Man, I'll tell you that. You know what? I know where I'm going to go.
Where are you going to go?
Richie James. Rick James, bitch. I'm Rick James. 3,400.
Going deep in the well.
Going deep in the well. I feel like that he is going to have a good game. Still a lot of injuries on that Giants team, and a game where look, he's played pretty well, and 3,400, that gives us a lot to play with. Where are we at? We still have 7,900 for our flex.
Yeah.
Hey, real quick, McGee, I think you put in Melvin Gordon. I think you clicked on him instead of what's his name? Like Miles Sanders.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You're good.
Were they like the same price? Yeah. Okay.
Exactly, yeah, they're both 55.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I've got we have 7,900. I'm not gonna double up at tight end with Kelsey. Not really feeling Debo. I'm gonna go the safe play here and pick Joe Mixon. He's facing the Jets defense, who until they can show us any better, I'm attacking in any way, shape, or form. I love the upside of Mixon this week.
Now, what that would leave us is 300. Is there anything we want to change? The first thing that always comes to my mind is our defense. But I don't know if there's a defense that's better matchup than playing against the Seattle Seahawks.
Mm-hmm.
They're going into Seattle, though. I never feel comfortable attacking that.
Is there another defense that y'all would prefer? Because I'm not married to the Falcons choice. I was just trying to
Maybe
see.
we could. I'd say Ravens would be a pretty solid choice. I mean, the New England's offense hasn't looked very good.
Man, I'll tell you what, though, that Ravens defense looked terrible last week. But okay,
That is true.
I know they're playing.
I think they're going to last week. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt because they're going up against a much stronger pass attack, and the Patriots certainly don't have that. So I think it won't look as bad.
Eagles.
I think, man, I kind of feel like that game's going to be a shootout, don't you?
Yeah, like you almost got to feel Carson's going to throw a pick six, trying to do too much against his former team.
I don't hate any of those. I think all of them are fair options.
Let's keep it as is.
Okay. So that is the team. We'll put it in there. We'll see how it does. Pretty good team, I think. Stafford, Robinson, and Higbee all linked together. Then you got Dalvin Cook, should be a high-scoring game. Miles Sanders, that should be a high-scoring game. Ricky James saves us some. I mean, all I'm looking for him when you spend $3,400 on a receiver is that he gets around 50 yards, which is what I think he got 50-something, 53 last week, and somehow sneaks into the end zone. And you can't hate anything about having Michael Thomas out there, especially against the Carolina Panthers. And Joe Mixon, I think, is a really good pick. So there we go. All right. Real quick, I figured out my stupid underdog while we were doing this, and I am going to go with, where is the Pac-12 at? I am going to go with the late kickoff, the Fighting Herm Edwards. They're picking on old Herm, so I'm going to pick him to. He's playing a Utah team that I don't think is very good. They're definitely not explosive. Arizona State normally plays very close to the vest. So I feel like that game's going to be close one way or the other. And if Arizona State's at home, who the hell knows? They might pull off the upset. And I'm so far in the hole, I need a big win. So 16.5 points. Give me the Fighting Herm Edwards in Arizona State.
That was actually my original pick.
I just saw it when we were, because I didn't do a whole lot like I normally try to do this week on the stupid underdog picks. I normally look at it during the day yesterday, but didn't get a chance, and so I was just like, man, damn, they've taken all the ones that there was two others that I really liked. I like Trocia's pick that I originally had circled with South Florida, and the Kansas State one's intriguing to me. I don't really think they're going to beat Oklahoma, but man, they beat Oklahoma. Like, that tends to be their thing. So we will move on from that. All right, let's get back out here. And Middle Tennessee State's playing the Hurricanes today. Is that a night game? It's got to be, right?
3:30.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Is it televised?
No idea.
Yeah. MTSU's
network.
MTSU's not any good, but the Revolution will not be televised, I guess.
ACC network. It's on.
Is it really? Okay. Well, I'll keep it.
Watch my Blu-rays.
I'll watch it till it's about 28-0. Then I'll be like, okay, that's enough already. Florida State, by the way, they're at home against Boston College. They haven't made an official announcement. Jordan Travis actually practiced this week, and I didn't think he had any chance in hell of playing. He was limped off the field last Friday night.
I think I saw during commercial break that he is starting.
He is
a go today. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a go today.
Then I give them a decent chance of covering the spread. If not, I think that Boston College spread's pretty. Boston College is a pretty bad football team. I said this on Wednesday to Justin. If Florida State loses this game or struggles in this game, Mike Norvell is going to have some questions to answer, because this is a team that if you're 3-0 coming in, because they've got a tough stretch after this game, if you don't put this team away early on, fairly early, I'm talking about by late third quarter, you've got the game in hand. You can't pound your chest about this team. Like if we win by 2, go, oh, we're 4-0. But your Boston College has looked like garbage so far this year.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't a typical Boston College team where they're a tough defensive team. Their offensive line is in shambles. Florida State, though, banged up on the defensive line, should be able to create a lot of pressure. FSU should win this game like 31-10. But if it's coming down late in the fourth quarter, by the way, can we just outlaw field goal kicking in college football? Because once again, we've got the worst field goal kicker on the planet. Just get rid of it. Quit going for field goals. Know that it's 4-down territory all the time. Don't even go for extra points. Just go for 2. Done with it. Anyways, moving on from that. Next up on the docket, well, I've only got a couple of panics and chills because we got other stuff that we need to get into today. But I thought these were two pretty good ones. Let's see who should take which one. All right, Bobby, are you panicking or chilling about DJ Moore?
Honestly, I wasn't high on him going into this year. I didn't draft him in any leagues. So I would say I'm panicking. If you can get a good trade for him, I'd go ahead and do it. Again, he's in a bad offense with a bad quarterback. I haven't been high on him at all this year.
What do you think you could get for a DJ Moore? Because I think a lot of people are low on him right now that have him, or that, in other words, you're trying to pawn him off on somebody. What do you think you could get for a DJ Moore?
I mean, you don't force a trade if you don't have to, you know. But if you can get a decent return, a player that it's hard to name an exact one, but if you can get a decent return on something you think's good value, I'd say go ahead and pull the trigger.
He's 21 ranked right now going into this week. Would you trade him for any of these guys that are below him? Drake London. Trade for, like, would you trade for DJ?
No.
If you had any of these guys? If you had Drake London, would you trade him? Terry
I had
McLaurin.
Drake London. McLaurin, I would probably. That's tough because Dotson's taking a lot of targets and a lot of catches in the end zone. I would be about 50-50 on that.
DK Metcalf.
I'd trade him for DK.
Rashad Bateman.
I would say no. I'm not. I'm going to say no to Bateman.
Curtis Samuel.
No, absolutely not. He was on waivers.
Brandon Ayuk.
Ayuk, I would go ahead and say yeah, with Jimmy coming back.
Deontay Johnson.
Nah.
I know we're going to say no to this one, but he is ranked 10 slots below him. Allen Robinson.
Nah, not until I see it in that offense.
Amari
Cooper get work in there.
Is another guy ranked below him this week.
No.
Tyler Lockett.
No.
Here's, I think, is where you start getting where you could be realistic. Elijah Moore.
I'd probably roll with DJ over Moore.
Yeah.
Over Elijah Moore.
Which Moore are you rolling with?
DJ.
Garrett Wilson.
Ooh.
Is he
I like the upside with Wilson, but I wouldn't make the trade.
Adam Thielen.
No.
All these guys are ranked below him this week. Juju, would you pull the trigger with Juju? You had Juju. Would you give up?
He's another guy who's disappointed. No, not Juju. No, he hasn't been putting up enough points.
Devontae Smith.
No, he had 0 points week 1. I can't risk that.
So you would make that trade?
No, I wouldn't trade for Devontae Smith. No.
Oh, you wouldn't?
No. No, he hasn't scored. He didn't score week 1 at all. I'd keep more. So there's a handful of guys that trade 1 for 1.
I'm talking about from the other perspective. If you have this guy, are you trading for DJ Moore?
Oh, okay.
Someone offered you DJ Moore and you had this guy. Are you making the trade?
Yes, if I have Devontae Smith,
you got to look at it from
DJ
that
Moore,
perspective when you're making this. People always want to take the perspective of who do I want, but you got to look at what does that guy want.
Mm-hmm. I would take more over Devontae Smith.
There's not many. I've got him in one or two leagues, but it was just because of the way it fell, you couldn't let him go any further. But I've never been big on DJ Moore, and I was hoping that he was going to have a better year this year because his quarterback situation, strangely enough, is the best it's ever been. And it still isn't. It's still not good enough. All right, the other panic or chill. Kyle Pitts, Stephen Troche.
I've got him in a couple like in some of my bigger leagues, but like it. So this is maybe a little bit of a homer bias, but I'm still saying chill. It's Mariota has looked more competent in that offense than I think most people think, or like have thought, or what I thought he did. I mean, what we saw to Kyle Pitts last year was otherworldly for a rookie. I mean, he had one of the best rookie fantasy seasons for a tight end ever. So I mean, I'm still willing to chill. It's only been 2 games. Let's see if this is truly going to be a pattern, or are they just trying to get work that offense out, try to get into a flow. I'm still willing to give it some more time.
Outside of the big 4 that are always ranked in front of him, or right in that area between Kittle and Waller and Andrews and Kelsey, right? Outside of that, is there a tight end out there that you'd be willing to give Pitts up for?
Nope.
And say to hell with it. I need more consistency.
Not unless I'm getting
Jalen Hurts. Would you be willing to trade Pitts for Dallas Goedert?
No, not any way, shape, or form.
Really?
Nope, not even considering it. I mean, what like going off Bobby's logic, what did Goedert do in week 1? Like 1 or 2 catches, the absolute nothing.
What if Mitchell Trubisky finally retires, and would you want Pat Freiermuth?
No, there's too many mouths to feed on that offense, and not enough volume. Kyle Pitt, I mean, London has looked
full-blown
fantastic.
Panic for me, but the problem is I don't know what you could get for him that would make you happy, you know?
I mean, there is no deal with Kyle Pitts at this point.
Yeah, if you drafted Pitts this year in a redraft, it's probably what 3rd, 4th round is when you got him most likely, maybe 5th, right? You'd almost have to say that you have another tight end that's pretty good, and you're trading Kyle Pitts to fill another need.
Yeah,
the only way I could see trading Pitts, if you had a glaring issue at running back. And you're like, dude, I cannot keep sending Cam Akers out there. What the hell am I going to do? Right. Man, I'll tell you what, it's behind the 8 ball. All right. We are going to start feeling flexy here. We got enough time. All right. So we're going to throw some names out at y'all. Give you 3 names. Y'all rank them in order of how you would start them this week. 3 flexes, right? I'm just going to go back and forth because we've got quite a few. What I did was there's quite a few start them, sit them questions, kind of combined them because they were all basically the same names. So we're going to rank them in this order. So we'll go to tier. Well, I'll call tier 1 because, you got the no-brainers. You're starting Jonathan Taylor. People, would you quit sending me, should I start Jonathan Taylor questions? But we're going to go to the next tier, and this might be like a shallow league where you can only start 2 of these 3 guys. Who are you starting? Okay. Look at it that way. All right. First one is, I think this is right in your wheelhouse, Bobby. So we'll start with you. Miles Sanders, CEH, or AJ Dillon. 2 of those 3.
2 of those 3. Ooh. I would go. Let's see. Do you know the Packers offhand who they're playing this week? Oh, they're playing the Bucks. Okay. I'd go with Sanders and Edwards-Helaire, honestly. I think both those teams will pull away with their games they're playing, and I think they'll resort to running the ball a lot more. I think both those 2 guys are going to get a lot of touches.
Troche, Cordero Patterson, Cortland Sutton, or Damian Pierce?
Man, that is tough. Damian Pierce out. I got to see it. Not even from the. I just he needs to be on the field and being used. I'm leaning Patterson just because I'm not. Yeah, give me Cordero Patterson. I like the upside against the Seattle defense.
Assuming he plays, Bobby, Gabe Davis, Mike Williams, and was the other one? Oh, Pittman. Gabe Davis, Mike Williams, and Pittman. Give me 2.
I'll go with Davis. I think what we saw from him in week 1, obviously he was hurt week 2, but what we saw in week 1 was impressive. I think if he keeps that up, he's worth the start. And then between the other two, I'll go Mike Williams only because of the fact that he's in a game that they should win pretty handily in, assuming Herbert's healthy. With how the Colts offense looked last week, it's just hard to trust Pittman in fantasy until that offense gets it together, I guess. At least over those two guys.
Steven, let's go. Oh, here's a really, man, it's hard to believe we're even asking this question, but considering his quarterback situation, he's in this group. CeeDee Lamb, Drake London, Michael Thomas. Give me 2.
Man, that's hard because I mean the Giants have nobody in their secondary. I like to stop Lamb, and I mean, like we've seen quarterbacks with or receivers with bad quarterbacks still succeed. Man, I mean I'm gonna go against my gut here and sit Michael Thomas. So like I'm gonna start CeeDee Lamb and Drake London. I think both of them have a better path to volume.
That might be the biggest upset of the weekend.
Yeah, I mean
Stephen Troche benching Michael Thomas. Bobby, here's a good one. You got to start 2 of these 3. So the Los Angeles Rams, Cam Akers and Henderson, or Tony Pollard.
I'll keep Pollard in the lineup. It's going to come down to one of the 2 Rams guys. That's a tough call because Akers, he was actually used a little bit last week. But I'm going to go with Henderson. I'm going to go with Henderson. I know it's a little bit riskier. But I think he'll, I don't know. I think he's going to get more points this week. That's a tough call though. That one's the toughest question I've been asked yet.
Steven, Travis Etienne, Elijah Moore, and Garrett Wilson.
I feel like this is the week that ETN should be used. I mean, like this is going to be the game script ideally for him. I hate having to choose between Elijah Moore and Garrett Wilson. One, because Joe Flacco sucks. And 2,
tell me how you really feel.
The Jets suck. That's how I really feel. No,
but yet somehow they beat the Bengals last year, and they may do it again.
I'm going to start ETN there. I just don't like choosing between those 2 receivers. I don't think it's so hard to pick. I mean, last year Flacco was peppering Elijah Moore with as many targets as he could handle, and he hasn't seen anything this year. So give me ETN.
All right, one more apiece. All right, Bobby, Jacoby Myers, Traylon Burks, and Sterling Shepard.
Who was the first one again?
Traylon Burks.
Traylon Burks and Jacoby Myers. That was the one. I'll go with Burks and Myers. I know Myers is questionable going into this game, but I think he's a consistent, fantasy player. Cool 10 to 15 a week when he's healthy. And then Burks, I like how he was involved a little bit more in the Titans offense last week. I think if he can catch some more passes like that, I think it'll be worth the start of those 3.
Here's one for you, Steven. You wouldn't believe how many questions I got for these particular players. Mercurl Hardman, Tyler Boyd, Robert Woods. Two of those three.
Hardman, Tyler Boyd, and Robert Woods. I'm gonna say Tyler Boyd there. I like T. Higgins seems to be back healthy. This like I talked about earlier, this feels like a Joe Mixon matchup. So I'm gonna sit Tyler Boyd there and start Woods and the first guy you mentioned who's not a Bengal. So
I find this very interesting that George Kittle is ranked so down far below, but they said he is going to be active tomorrow. So maybe they just haven't updated their rankings. Maybe that's what it is. Because I feel with Jimmy G being back, man, that should elevate Kittle. Like that should be. If you were ever going to make a trade to get Kittle, you better do it before tomorrow. Because people can hate on Jimmy G all they want, man. I'd take him right now in Tennessee and take right now, man. At least I know he won't run around like a maniac and try to do something he can't do. He's just going to drop back if you're open. He's going to hit you. If not, he's going to throw it out of bounds. Let's go to the next play. Titans should have really thought about making a trade for Jimmy G and then just whatever. With anyways, too late to do that. All right, let's go ahead and get into some lines. We'll do pro football first, and then we'll do college football, and then we'll hit our locks. Pro football. Not a whole lot of interesting games tomorrow. I'll throw out the one that I originally used as a lock, and I changed it. I think Titans are going to find a way to win that game just because it's at home. If that game was in Vegas, I'd be taking the Raiders. I think it's one of those types of games. The Titans are getting 2 points. I can understand why a lot of people wouldn't believe in that, but I think that this is probably going to be the game that where Travis Henry eats, and they're going to win an ugly game, something like a 23-17 type of ball game, and find a way to be 1-2 heading into that showdown against the 0-3 Colts, or maybe they'll both be 0-3. Two teams that have found a way to not be a top of the worst division of football. Bobby, give me another NFL game that's got your eye.
Let's see. Let me think. I had it pulled up. I mentioned earlier Chiefs -5.5 against the Colts. I think that one's, like you said, I know you think it's too good to be true, but I'm very confident in that one.
Colts play pretty well at home is the only, but I get your thinking. Yes, neutral field.
Until I see it from the Colts offense, until I see Matt Ryan actually play like an NFL quarterback, I'm not confident at all. I'll go Chiefs -5.5.
Is there any other NFL game that we haven't talked about, Steven?
Well, one that we did talk about.
Are you taking the Dolphins +5?
Hell no. I like my money. I want to keep my money in my pocket. Now, one bet I really like tomorrow, I talked about it a little bit earlier, is in that Atlanta and Seattle game, the over-under is only 42 points. And that game is just screaming shootout to me. It's I don't know. I have no feel on who's going to win it. It's currently a pick 'em, so apparently Vegas feels the same way. But 42 just seems like such a low number for how bad the defense can be and how much talent is on those offenses.
What about that Giants line, man? It's that over-under is only 39. That seems low.
Oh, I mean, Daniel Jones could be wide open running for a touchdown, and he'll still fall down and find a way to not score.
I know the Cowboys defense is pretty solid, but Giants defense has been pretty bad.
Yeah, but can Cooper Rush take advantage of that?
Who did he get compared to yesterday? I saw it was something insane.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I forget the comparison.
It was something like Tom Brady. It wasn't Tom Brady. It was something absurd. It's like the equivalent of a guy hitting 2 free throws at the end of a game to win a Charlotte Washington November matchup, and they go, "This is the next Michael Jordan, man. This guy's phenomenal. It's just great." What are we talking about here?
Speaking of lines, Commanders right now are +6.5 against the Eagles at home. Do you think Wentz comes out with any kind of fire in a revenge game.
It's a divisional game. I think that's a lot of points to give up on the road in a divisional game. That's what I think. And the Eagles, they played on Monday night too. Anytime a team is on the road after a Monday night football game, that's the only thing that makes me give pause about the Titans. Put money on the Titans is that they are coming off a short week. And it's just one game. You wouldn't think it makes a difference, but I swear every damn week it makes a difference.
Yep.
Are there any?
I would say.
Go ahead.
With that Washington game, I'd say I would probably be in favor of plus 6.5. But if I'm betting on this week, I'm staying away from that game. I'm not even touching it.
The reason why I do like the Titans is because of my East Coast, West Coast rule. And the Raiders are technically West Coast, right? In the Pacific time zone. They are on the road, an early kickoff, noon local time, but 10 a.m. Vegas time. And they're giving up points on the road. That just seems insane. We don't have any other West Coast, East Coast games in NFL this week, do we? That's usually where I like to go, man. It's like if I can find 3 of them, you put a hundo on all 3. Usually, at least 2 of them are going to hit. Bengals, by the way, 6 points. I bet you that creeps up to. I would play the game to see if it gets up to 7 by kickoff. The Jets are going to cover that spread, and I've got nothing to base that off of. But they're going to cover that spread.
Well, you can always take.
I got a feeling Burrow's going to come out pissed after this start. And
that's what everybody's going to bank on. They're going to Flacco, come on. And then somehow you're going to look up at the scoreboard, fourth quarter, and it's going to be Joe Burrow trying to send his troops down the field trailing 20-16. You go, what the hell happened?
Again.
Now I got to pick up another shift. I got to find a second job. What the hell have I done? All right, let's go to college football as we are about 10 minutes before kickoff of the early games. The game that jumps out to me the most early kickoff is obviously Clemson, Wake Forest. We haven't really talked about this. Clemson is only a 7.5 point favorite. Look, I'm pulling for Wake Forest. I hope Wake Forest pulls the upset. But last year, Clemson absolutely obliterated them on the offensive line. If you can't block a team, and I don't think much has changed from last year to this year, if you can't block a team, how the hell are you going to beat a team? Damn, 7.5 seems low. I mean, that seems like a perfect game to hit a teaser with, right?
Yeah.
Grab that game and grab something else and roll with it. That just seems really low. Am I off here?
No. I was looking at it thinking the exact same thing.
And I don't think DJ Uiagalelei is the best quarterback in that game, but it doesn't matter. DJ Uiagalelei's not wearing gold and black and having to be chased around by the Clemson defensive line.
Yeah.
Someone else likes your South Florida because that thing's already moved a point, looks like, since when did we make that pick? Around about an hour ago?
It's the power of the armchair quarterback. We're already moving lines.
That's right. What is your lock today, by the way, Steven?
Oh, let me get that pulled back up. I just want to see what the line is at now. It was really tempting for me to take the Lions +6. They are looking real good this season. No, you know what? I'm going to take Lions +6. I really think that they you're talking about the short week again. Minnesota's coming off the short week, getting obliterated by
that should be a
Eagles.
shootout, by the way. Get all your Lions and all your Vikings in the game. They showed a stat last week, yesterday or the day before. The last 4 times that the Vikings have played the Lions, Kirk Cousins has gone for over 300 yards. Average like 302, I believe, is what the number was. That's one of those numbers you're like, really?
Get them in your DFS lineups, 6,700 on DraftKings.
Which, if that tells us anything, it tells us 205 of those yards will go to Justin
Smith.
And it's not a night game on primetime, so Kirk Cousins should be fine.
There you go.
Yeah.
Just kryptonite.
Yeah, I guess he's like, man, I should be in bed already. What the hell are we doing out here playing football? He's the exact opposite of the East Coast, West Coast theory. It's like, it's too late. It's too late of a kickoff. Another, obviously, Florida, Tennessee. We've already gone over that several times, but Steven, have you given us a score on that? I don't think you have.
What, Florida, Tennessee?
Yeah.
I had not given a score.
Bobby's got his stupid underdog pick, but he's predicting that Florida loses a close one. I've got him winning something like 38-28. In my heart of hearts, I think it's going to be like 41-20, but because of the line, I'm keeping it at 38-28.
I'm going to go 42-24 Tennessee.
North Carolina, Notre Dame. I like North Carolina to win this game 38-30.
I'm going to go 20-17, a little bit lower scoring, but I did bet them to win at minus 145.
Carolina?
Yep.
Bobby, what say you?
I'll go 24-20 North Carolina.
I think Minnesota, Joey took him as the underdog, but I think Minnesota's going to beat Michigan. I think Michigan State's overrated. And Minnesota can run the football. That is one thing they can do.
I got Mo Ibrahim, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's coming back from Achilles tear. He was great.
Dude's a machine.
Mm-hmm.
Central Florida should roll Georgia Tech. If they played each other today, who wins between Georgia Tech and Colorado? The El Stino Bowl.
Nobody. Everyone loses for having to even watch that game.
Bobby, sit down and let me tell you a tale of how 32 years ago those two teams split the national championship. And now here we sit with two of the worst college football teams. Oof. Who the hell did Georgia Tech beat? It had to have been a nobody. Let me see. Waiting for it to load. As soon as I ask something like that, the damn website goes crapola. Here we go. Western Carolina.
Oh, yeah, no, they're really bad.
So they beat Western Carolina 35-17. In between that, they played Clemson and Ole Miss, sandwich that in between, and lost by a combined score of 83-10.
That's how you do it.
That's how you do it. The rambling wreck of Georgia Tech and a hell of an engineer. But not much on blocking. Other games of interest today. Give Wisconsin any chance in hell of that's the ABC game of the week. Wisconsin versus Ohio State. Get out of here. The hell is wrong with them?
A lot, apparently.
Why doesn't ABC trump ESPN and say, no, you take the Garbo game. We're taking Arkansas versus A&M. It makes zero sense to me.
That's literally the game I was just going to bring up. I think Arkansas is going to get the win there.
It's the same company. Disney owns the whole damn thing. Why don't they want people to watch ABC? Is it because they want to force you to purchase SEC ESPN?
Because you got to pay for the other channels and they want people to pay to see the games they want to see.
I guess. But they used to always try to get the biggest matchup they could on Saturday night. Now it's always like I'm surprised it's not Kansas State, Oklahoma. It's always some crap like that. No, that's the Fox game. Good job, Fox. Fox isn't carrying Major League Baseball tonight. They're not carrying any of the important games they're not carrying Aaron Judge possibly breaking history. They're going to carry Kansas State versus Oklahoma. That'd be
better than the Masked Singer.
That's fun.
If he doesn't get a W soon, damn, the Notre Dame head coach is going to be the Masked Singer. I can't think of his name first. What is his name? It's escaping me.
Notre Dame coach?
Yeah, Sean's calling
Marcus
Tyrone Willingham too many times. That's what keeps popping in my head.
Is it Marcus Freeman or something like that?
Yes, Freeman.
Yeah,
Freeman. I can't tell you how many texts Stephen and I have gotten from Sean calling him Willingham. So now that's all I can think of is Tyrone Willingham. Any games else? We're reaching kickoff. Any other games we haven't talked about?
No, I think we covered most of the
How about Washington State being in a home underdog, undefeated at home against Oregon? That's a Fox game. That game's interesting.
Yeah.
Duke, Kansas for the first time with a ball that's not round is interesting. 2 undefeated teams, and Kansas has played an impressive schedule for them. I mean, I kind of want to make sure I'm going to forget about it, but I kind of want to see that game. I was so close to taking that as my stupid underdog, but I'm like, man, after I kind of looked at what Kansas has done, I'm like, man, I don't think that line's big enough. Duke is undefeated, but they've beaten Temple, who's terrible, Northwestern, who isn't much better, and then NCAET, which I believe is a telephone provider. And then Kansas, if you look at what Kansas has done, they're 3-0. By the way, this game's kicking off in about 3 minutes. Theirs is actually impressive. They went to West Virginia and won 55-42, and they went to Houston and won 48-30.
That's good. Better than Duke's resume so far.
It is, but both are undefeated. How often can you say that about Duke and Kansas September 24th in college football? Normally, like Duke, Kansas, I saw them bring it up Monday, and I was not paying attention to the screens. Like, why are we talking about college basketball right now? I was getting pissed off. Oh, wait a minute, we're talking about. Like, nobody cares about the fact that Coach K is not coach anymore. We'll talk about that in freaking November. I swear they were locking in Duke, Kansas. I'm like, I don't care. I thought it was another one of these, ESPN just starts doing deep dives. You'll flip over it and you're like, why are you breaking down the roster of the Oklahoma City Thunder? It's damn middle of August. Like, nobody cares. The moment that so everybody knows basketball, typically NBA, I don't watch a lot of regular season. But I was texting the only 2 Celtic fans that I'm friends with that are, big Celtic fans as well. I said, I'm all in, man. I'm ready to watch Celtics this year. And they're like, you don't watch it all. I was like, I'm going to watch it if they're on national TV. I'm not going to go buy the subscription. I'm all in. 6 hours later, they suspended the head coach for the year because he was diddling the staff. I'm like,
and Robert Williams, he's going to be out for a while too.
And then I see that I've got Robert Williams in some best balls. I'm like, yeah,
it's keep coming for the Celtics.
I jinxed him.
Apparently, the news with the coach is a lot worse than what's come out so far. So,
yeah, we'll see where that goes.
I think what he's being suspended for is a little absurd because it was consensual, but.
Well, I think the reason the investigation was sparked is because he made some unwanted remarks or whatever, and then that prompted the investigation.
I mean, I know why it was sparked. I guess I worked in the restaurant business too long.
Well, it's Matt Barnes.
He would help. I mean, that's what half the time. That's why they got hired. All right, probably stepping on some lines I shouldn't step on. Bobby, what's your walk off?
Well. Florida, Tennessee, always a great rivalry, hoping for a good game at least. I'm hoping for a Florida win, of course. Hoping the tradition continues. And everybody else, enjoy that game and enjoy a great weekend of football. Make sure to make the most of it.
Steven, what say you?
Yeah, not much to add to that. We got a great college Saturday ahead of us, and then another fantastic NFL Sunday, a great DFS main slate. All the big quarterbacks are back. It's gonna be a lot of fun. So just sit back, throw some lineups in, and just have fun. Enjoy the weekend.
I am icing down the beer, getting ready for Florida, Tennessee, kicking off in 3 hours. Braves will be playing right around that time period. Have that on another tube. Hoping to be in the pool, chasing the dog around, and then at 8:00, Florida State and Boston College. This should be a fun day. If it's not, I'll get so blotto I won't remember it. So who cares? And then tomorrow. An okay NFL Sunday. I think that for once I'm more excited about what's going on Saturday than I am on Sunday. But don't forget to set your lineups and check out all the injuries. Injuries normally come out officially, not the last minute ones, but I'm talking about the Saturday ones. Isn't it around 3:00 Eastern? Isn't that about the wheelhouse?
When the reports start coming in?
Yeah.
Yeah, about then.
Okay. So either mess with it today or set an alarm, because I always have to set an alarm Sunday and goes, it just says fantasy football. And go, start wiping. Oh, God. Go. Here I go with my 36 lineups that I have to adjust. Some of the ones I don't pay attention as much, I just let it ride for a couple weeks. Okay.
If I don't have money on it, I'll check in every few weeks.
What's that?
If I don't have money on it, I'll just check in every few weeks.
Yeah, well, there's some that I got into too many of them. The ESPN Plus leagues, the ones where you have a chance to win money, I did too many of them. I was getting antsy jumping in all these it's ridiculous.
It's fun drafting, and then afterwards you're like,
the others take the back seat.
So best balls are for.
It is, but I was getting involved in these others. And
hey, speaking of the best ball leagues, I'm first and second, so I'm doing well in both of those.
Are you?
Oh, it's early.
Yes, off to a good start.
I haven't even looked at those. I've got 74 lineups in best ball. I
think I got Tyreek in both of them.
It just shows me that I'm, what I'm winning, and I'm like, it's not enough considering how much I put in. This is total crap. I'm definitely doing it again next year. I love the underdog best ball. I can't speak highly enough about it. It's fun. I'm not going to do as many next year. I'm not going to put myself on a budget, but I'm definitely doing them. All right, guys, great job. We'll see you next week. Sean should be back. He had a brunch, I think he said that he had to go to. So I figured it had something to do with one of his teams, but I couldn't figure out which one it was. So I didn't have a good quip to come back to him. But we will see y'all next week. Next week, that'll be October 1st, right? Or yeah, October 1st. We'll be in October. And somehow Florida State might be undefeated going into October. Not much long after that, because I think they play Wake Forest next week. We'll see y'all next week.
All right, see you guys. Have a good one.
We're back tomorrow with another show. Well, unless we're fired, we'll talk to you then. Goodbye, sweetheart. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Guys and gals, it's time to go. We'll see you on the next show.
Same bat time, same bat channel.
Thanks for listening to the Armchair Quarterbacks on these CBS Sports affiliates and catching the show on YouTube Live. The Armchair Quarterbacks bring you Braves Country Baseball every Tuesday and Friday night, play-by-play with Mac McGee. Find Armchair Quarterbacks on YouTube Live today. Please subscribe and share and take us everywhere you go. The Armchair Quarterbacks, your first choice for Southern sports talk, live from the First Coast.
Can I get another cigarette, please? Can I get another cigarette, please? Yeah, I know I live to regret it. Just give me another cigarette.